Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. See if anyone in chat can hear me. If anyone in the chat can hear me, just push 1 as a confirmation. Reigning woman, thank you for the confirmation. Good evening to you. Welcome back to the Black Brain Trust. This is episode 333. Black Car Talk. Please hit the like button as you come in. Share the video if possible. Hit that notification bell so you get all the updates from the Black Brain Trust, including those posted on the community tab. I am late because I just came back from the movies seeing Gemini with Will Smith. Dope movie. Very, very dope. But we're going to get it cracking, man, because I know we're already fundamentally late. Before we get into the Corvette stuff, we'll get into some other miscellaneous stuff first. Also, if you want to get on the panel, there'll be a link in the chat. Just raise your hand when you're in the waiting room so that we can acknowledge you and advance you to the panel. All right, I'm gonna get started, man, because I see nobody else is coming up here. So, all right, this one's from CNN. This happened last week. The police department's Tesla ran low on power during a pursuit. This should be interesting. A Tesla electric police patrol car in the Bay Area ran low on power at one of the worst possible times last Friday during a pursuit. It's unclear exactly why the 2014 Tesla Model S85 wasn't fully charged and lost juice at such an inopportune moment, according to the Fremont Police Department spokesperson Geneva Vasquez. It happened from time to time, especially if an officer returns to the station to take a report and then they never go back out in the streets, she told CNN. The police officer driving the Tesla was pursuing a suspect who was wanted in connection with a crime in Santa Clara, according to Vasquez. After confirming the license plate, the officer attempted a traffic stop. The car failed to yield and the driver took off at a high rate of speed, she said. Just realized I am down to 6 miles on battery on the Tesla, so I may lose it here in a second. The officer driving the Tesla said, according to Fremont Police dispatch radio obtained via broadcastophy. Other police units were following behind to assist and ultimately took over the pursuit with help from California State Highway Patrol, according to Vasquez. She said the chase was called off after 10 minutes when it was deemed unsafe because of the way the suspect was driving. California State Highway Patrol later found the suspect's car abandoned in San Jose. Fremont Police said they are still in their 6 months of pilot program testing the integration of the Tesla with the department, and that they are keeping track of all the data. We have no written policy regarding gas or charging, but the general guideline is that it should be at least be half full at the beginning of the shift, which this car was. Vasquez said last week's incident doesn't change the way the department feels about the performance of the car for patrol purposes. Interesting. I would think that they would, that Tesla would design the car to government standards, not so much civilian standards. So it sounds to me like they just took a civilian car and just basically slapped some stickers on it and called it a police car. But I'd be curious to know why or what the design was, because this should have like top of the line batteries. Oh, I mean, it's got to be spec'd out for a police duty, or it can't just take a consumer car and just slap a few stickers on it in a strobe and call it a police car. That's got to be crazy. Raining woman, good evening to you. I don't know if Raining woman can hear me.
Oh, my mic was muted. I didn't know it. Good evening, Mike V. How are you? Good
I'm good in
evening,
yourself.
everyone. I'm good. Thank you. Evening, everyone in the chat. It sounds like they took my car on this chase, and that's no good.
Hmm. Is your car always low on gas?
No, my car's not low on gas, but it's not built for no police chase, no high speed chase.
Yeah.
Nope.
No, but it's interesting to see that something like this would even happen. I mean, 10 miles. I don't even know what they mean by that, because it usually goes by minutes. I guess miles is also taken into consideration as well, but I would have thought that they had some extra batteries attached to this. Maybe in the trunk, not in the trunk, but in the front of the car itself, because the car has two trunks, in the
Hmm.
front and the back. The front, what we call a frunk. The front trunk is usually empty. But I'd be curious to know if they could have installed, additional batteries up front just for that very purpose, to keep the car going.
Right.
Maybe Ty City might know. What's going on, Ty City?
What's up, fam?
Chilling, fam.
Hi, Ty.
Hello.
I don't know if you got a chance to hear the story, but about the Tesla police car that ran out of battery, ran out of juice.
Oh man, I'm loving that.
Oh yeah.
What?
Oh yeah, man. I know that's like a PR nightmare.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I would have thought that Tesla would have spec'd it out to be official for this, for police duty, not some regular car you can buy off the lot and just put some stickers on there and the strobe light.
Yeah, I mean, with them going after government contracts and stuff like that, nah, that's not a good look. They got a bunch of skeptics in the government already.
Right. Uh, you know, um, I don't know, because most police cars, man, I mean, obviously they sit idle a lot, um, even during duty. But when you think about a Tesla, there's no real way to to just charge it up. But then that goes into the fact that there's not enough infrastructure available, right? Um, if I'm a police officer, I'd be, not using it for high speed pursuits, because what we maybe they don't know this, but because this is a 2014, this isn't like a 2019 anything like that. What happened on the Nürburgring was that it could not complete a full Nürburgring lap at high speed because the batteries had shut down, or the motor had shut down, something to that effect. It was some kind of um, failure to complete the lap because of electronics. It went into limp mode, basically. You got a check engine light or a check motor light. I guess that's what they would call it.
But I mean, they would have to have even more battery stuff with all the accessories that police use.
Well, yeah. Well, to an extent. Yeah, to an extent, because you're right, because of the computers and stuff like that. I don't know how this is designed. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me that they would actually take a regular Tesla and just throw all the the laptops and stuff in there, the strobe lights, and still keep the same exact design. That seems kind of stupid.
You know what? I seen something else. I think a couple days ago. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but it was police had made a traffic stop, and this arm extended from the car. It had like a printer or something. It printed the ticket out.
Wow. This is in DFW.
Nah, it was just an article that I had read,
Mhm.
and it came out, popped up. It had facial recognition on it. It had a thing on there for you to swipe your driver's license on, and like, yeah, the police didn't even get out the car. It's like a traffic stop.
Crazy, crazy. I know up in this city we got you pay by smartphone. So there's an app, and there's a certain kiosk number for every parking spot, and then you pay for it by app, and then the app kind of will do a countdown how much time you have to sit in that spot, and it'll keep reminding you every few minutes before it expires. But the thing is, it goes to the city, right? So city transportation department or traffic enforcement will probably come by looking for that same exact spot where you're parked at to see if you're still there after time expires, so they can get you. So they got fair warning, ahead of time to do something like that. I got dinged, a week or so ago for that, and I was just walking to my car and they got me.
I'm gonna see if I can try to find your picture there.
Yeah. All right. Let me get to this next article, man. This one is from Motor1.com. Porsche 993 gets a modern day reimagining. This thing looks so sick, man. Last year, Porsche revealed yet another special edition of the 911, the Porsche 935. It pays homage to the classic 935 dubbed Moby Dick. The long-tailed race car from the 1970s, Matthew Parsons used the revived 935 as an inspiration for a new creation for his Project 993. This takes the Porsche 993 sold from 1995 to 1998 in the US and gives it a slew of modern day touches and a plethora of renderings from various angles. But the new 935 isn't the only thing Parsons used for inspiration. In his post on Behance, Parsons says Project 993 used Porsche's motorsport heritage in their 935 revival, as well as companies like Gunther Works and RWB for inspiration, which is plenty deep. The design is supposed to blend OEM and aftermarket design cues into one coherent product that looks ready for the open road or racetrack, and the results are stunning. You can spot the 935's influence at the rear with the elongated tail, busy rear diffuser, and twin exhaust pipes that mimic those on the new special purpose special edition Porsche 911. The thin taillights really give Project 993 a modern touch. Everything else about the renderings falls a bit more in line with what you expect to see on an updated 993. The wide front fenders and vents give Project 993 an aggressive yet sleek stance that looks right at home on the Porsche, with round headlights and thin daytime running lights accentuating the car's appearance. So this is the renderings of it, not the actual car. It looks over exaggerated, in my opinion. Not really feeling it all that much. It's a little bit too over the top for me.
Hey Mike, I got a link to the video if you want me to put it in there.
It's a video from YouTube.
Yeah.
All right, we'll try to spin it up for a few seconds.
All right.
Put the link in the chat.
Hey, what's going on, y'all?
Hey, we're going to Complex.
So you guys looking at that 993.
Yeah, that's I'm 50-50 on it, man. I think they had a very good idea, but the execution just doesn't look like it's OEM at all. It just looks really tacky.
It looks like the old. It looks like the old MC Hammer joints.
I rock with it. I'm down with that RWB look.
Oh yeah, of course. Of course. And you don't call your hood on your Datsun a hood. You call it a bonnet.
A bonnet, and I call the trunk a boot.
Mm.
He calls it a boots.
Mm-hmm. Who knew that Thai City was Canadian?
Yeah. It's got to have a wing though, man, a big one, bro. When you get the flares like that, you just gotta have a big GT style wing on the back.
And it needs more stickers, man. I mean, what use is all those all those effects without the stickers, man?
Yeah,
Gotta
some
see.
livery.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you guys seen the GT version of this thing running around Monza?
Nah, I'm still looking for the fat lace decals on it, fat lace, Hoonigan.
Nah, it's Supreme now. It's
Mhm.
it's the clothing brand.
Why
No,
you
you
own
got this
some of it?
thing. There's a video of it.
Complex, your mic is breaking up a lot, bro.
You know what? I kind of like that design. With the rear being kind of extremely like minimalist. I like that. I think Lamborghini doing that. The back of that Aston Martin Vulcan was like that too.
Mhm. You mean all this
I
right
put
here?
that link in. Yeah, yeah. I put that link in the chat.
Mhm. All right, I'll get it right now. Our robot goes between to keep everyone safe. Interesting. That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. It's not practical. What's the
What the hell is that? What is that?
yeah? It's just a poor use of a robot, man. I mean, why does what are they afraid that you might get shot or something?
I mean, they put a hat on it.
I guess for safety reasons.
It's like, was like a legit RoboCop?
It's supposed to be, but the thing is, in Africa, in Kenya, they're using drones to give people tickets now, right? So the drone can read your license plate and just basically send you a ticket that way. I I um I don't know, man. This doesn't seem logical at all. You know, I mean, we're big tech guys, but this does not seem logical to me at all. This seems like a waste of money and waste of time.
I don't know. I don't know, Mike.
Because what's to stop the person in front from taking off?
See the officer looking at everything from inside his car.
Yeah, but
They're not
that's
even
that.
get-
wh- How, why can't he just get out and give the lady a ticket? What's the logic behind that? Is this because of like Me Too or something? They don't want the women being patted down.
Yo, it was the craziest thing, bro. Because the thing pops out. It's got facial recognition, and
Hmm.
and then it gets a double verify whenever you scan your ID to it. And yeah, see, it just printed a ticket.
Hmm.
You
Yeah,
know
that.
that this wouldn't work for me because I like saying "fuck you" to a human. I wouldn't. You know what I'm saying?
But what happens when the guys pull up in the bro dozers and you got to pull them over? That robot's not going to help, right? It seems illogical, man. It seems like not very well thought out, man.
I mean, but it's a prototype that might just be the beginning.
Nah, because you know why? Because I say that is because they're going to eventually force you to get. I mean, now with real ID, because I got my real ID recently. They want your email address, right? They got your email address and they got your phone number and they text you. So if they want to, if they want to get technical with it, they'll get technical and they won't be using that robot. I can tell you that much. Because if you go through a toll or something like that, they bill your license plate. So if they want to get you for anything, man, they can always get you. You don't need anybody to pull you over.
Yeah, I've got some experience with that myself.
Oh yeah, speak on it, bro. What's going on?
So with IDOT, if you blow through a toll and you don't have an iPass, that's like the magnetic pass that they use in Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
You have 7 days to pay,
Mm-hmm.
and if you don't pay within that time frame, they start tacking on like fees, like $20 fees over like a 60-cent toll or a $3 toll. If
Oh,
you
yeah.
don't pay within that 7-day time frame, they get you with the fees, and the shit grows pretty quick because you were too lazy to jump on the computer and pay the shit within 7 days. And the thing is, like I've forgotten to get back on and pay. So you're better off just like pulling over, not going through the iPass, giving the change to a person, and then letting the gate go up and going on about your way. Because that way you'll never forget.
You know what's going to happen is it's going to get to a point where they're going to basically set these overhead license plate readers up in the city. So you can't go into certain areas with certain types of cars at certain times of the day. You want to get into downtown Chicago? Pay up.
On top of that, they can determine how fast you've been going on the highway based on the amount of time it takes you to go through one iPass and then another.
Oh, yeah.
If you're getting from one iPass to the next in a very short period of time, they could get you for that. I've never been gotten for that. I don't know anyone who's been gotten for that, but technically they could, I guess.
You're supposed to pass through the toll booth at 15 to 20 miles and 15 miles an hour as supposed to be. We don't have toll booths anymore. We just have the overhead license plate readers. And
well, I mean, the amount of time it takes for you to go from one overhead reader to the next. Like if one is in one town, and then like, how did you get, 5 miles away so fast? That's what I mean.
Right. I don't know what they got in DFW. Ty City, you know?
Well, I used to put my tailgate down on my truck. So
You're an
asshole. That's funny. Do they have front plates? They don't have front plates. They don't do front plates in Texas?
No, I put my license plate in my windshield, bro. It just got to be visible from the front. So whenever I go through the toll roads, man, when I had my truck, I used to just pull my license plate, drop my tailgate, go right through all of them.
That's funny.
They rack up quick. Whenever you go through about 4 or 5 of them, then you do it, you know what I'm saying, on a daily basis through a commute or something.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. Let me just send this email out to Complex.
Yo, you know what? Funny thing about the Cayman, man, I went to go test drive the first generation Cayman, and I almost pulled the trigger on it, man. I think the prices on them have bottomed out. I don't see them getting no lower than that, and I think it's I think it's a good deal right now because the one I looked at was at around 90,000 miles, and it was in good shape. And they wanted 10 grand for that.
Whoa, holy shit, that's S2000 territory.
Yeah, but that's not a Cayman S, was it?
No. It was a manual, but it wasn't a manual S. This was the first generation. I think the Cayman S came out maybe like the second year or the third year.
Yeah. See, the thing is, those cars had IMS bearing failures.
Yeah, this
What
one,
is the
this one
IMF
seemed
bearing
pretty
again?
good. It had a whole bunch of records was with it, and man, I don't think you're losing by buying one that's in good shape right now. I got a feeling they're gonna go up.
I don't know about those. Though they weren't that special. The only ones that were really special were the what's the special one that came out with the green one? I think they call it a R. I think it was like a Cayman R or something like that. It was like the special track version. But that was the extent of those. They're good deals if you want a rear engine sports car. Yeah. You can't get yourself a MR2 or something like that. Then yeah.
Man, I can't fit in the MR2.
I can't fit in the Cayman. My head hits the roof, man.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm tall, and I was kind of high up on the windshield, but I wasn't. It wasn't to the point where it was unbearable.
What, you was rocking Timbs or your sandals?
Tom,
Oh, you about Tom's?
Tom's
Yeah,
and Crocs.
yeah, you're a real weirdo anyway. Who's that rainy woman trying to get in here? Oh no. Oh, that was your son. Okay. All right, let me read this article, man. This one's from Motor1.com. Porsche 718 Cayman GT4 RS spied looking lean and mean. Yeah, it does look lean and mean. Spy shots once again catch the development of the even harder version of the Porsche 718 Cayman GT4, which we suspect wears the RS suffix. There are major changes to the body in comparison to the already performance-focused model. This development car looks the same as the one in earlier spy shots, but there are still some great angles for looking at the coupe in these images. There's a new hood with two ducts in it in a more creased appearance than one in the existing GT4. The inlets on each one of the body are larger, and there are now vents in the rear quarter windows. The back gains a bigger wing with gooseneck mounting. The front and rear fascia appear to be the same as the current GT4. Zooming into the pictures provides a glimpse of the interior. The seats look like the same thick bolstered chairs from the GT4, and there's Alcantara around the rim of the steering wheel. Like the car in the other spy shots, there is a massive laptop occupying the passenger space. The big screen makes us think that it's important for the driver to be able to see the display easily. It's possible that some of the new vents might be routing more air to a tuned version of the GT4's engine, and the engineer needs to be able to keep an eye on this data. The existing model uses a naturally aspirated 4-liter flat six engine making 414 horsepower. Porsche intends to decrease friction with the power plant and increase its ability to rev in order to boost the mill's output. The debut date for the GT4 RS is a mystery. However, a rumor indicates it arrives in mid-2021. That's a long time, man. In car years, that's a long time. Well, at least in car time, it's a long time. I don't know if people want to hold out for something like that because the new NSX might be out by then. NSX Type R, if possible. and then you
They
factor
talking
in,
about the Type R.
yeah, there's a possibility there's a Type R coming. Um,
Uh,
that they saw it being tested. Um, new McLaren, new McLaren's coming out. New Lotus is going to be coming out by 2021 too. So I don't know, man, because the new Lotus is going to have a new Volvo power plant too. So it's going to have a turbo six with a with electrification to it. So it's going to be a hybrid.
Man, you could just tell how cars have came, man, with those high the doors, like the body lines, man, for safety, man. You could just
Hmm.
that just that's been getting to me lately.
Hmm.
Sports cars with the high doors.
Hmm. I don't know what a GT4 actually costs right now. Um, let's take a look at that. Let's see. Let's see
That
what.
wing is sick though.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to make final production though.
That wing was sick, man. That's a cold design.
Yo, what's going on, Super Triz?
Hey, what's going on, Mike?
Chilling, fam. I don't know how much you've heard of the live stream so far.
I basically just tuned in. It looks like you guys are talking about is that a Porsche GT2 of some sort?
No, there's a Cayman GT4.
Oh,
GT4 R.
GT4.
Yeah, GT4 RS is being tested, which we just covered.
Yeah. Now this is the one that's this actually has the flat six as opposed to the
Aspirated.
turbo four.
Yeah, it doesn't have the aspirated 4-cylinder or the 6-cylinder.
Okay. Yeah, I mean it's a you know, here's the thing. This is just a personal opinion of mine. I've never really liked the Caymans, and the reason why is because just aesthetically, I
Yeah.
think the 911 just looks better. Just the styling. I think the actual styling of the 911 can be applied to the GT4's lines and look just as good, but in order to differentiate the two models, there is some distinct styling elements of the Cayman and subsequently the Boxer that it's just something about it, especially in comparison to the 911. The 911 I think just plain looks better. Even though this obviously will have some differing handling and performance dynamics based on it being a true mid-engine and it being somewhat lighter than the 911. I think I think it'd be a great performing vehicle, but just aesthetically, I just prefer the 911's looks.
Yeah, I think everybody feels the same way. The thing about Porsche is that it's a purist sort of brand. So if it's not 911, it's not nothing. You could look at the depreciation of like the Panamera and the Cayenne and the Macan. Those things drop like a stone because they're not 911s. That's not what people want. They just don't hold their value like that. They're not unique to the brand itself.
I'm a fan of the earlier Caymans. I don't think that they could have like designed that roof line going into the back of that car any better.
Well, like I said, it's not the actual lines of the car. Let me say, it's not the silhouette of the car. The silhouette is fine. It's the actual sheet metal that surrounds the silhouette. Like there's subtle differences in the way the headlights are shaped. Subtle difference in the way the tail lights are designed. That's what distinguishes it from the 911. And for me, it's aesthetically inferior because of it. And again, that's just a personal tasting. Everything else about the Cayman, I actually like as opposed to, well, I don't like the 4-cylinder variants, obviously, but the 6-cylinder variants, I mean, I like them. I just think the 911 looks better. Now that's not to say that I wouldn't, given the right opportunity and right price point, that I wouldn't snatch up a Cayman. Let's make no mistake.
You know what? You make a good point, bro. Because a lot of people I don't get why people don't like the 996, man. And
996, 911, or the 99 or the 986 Cayman.
No, the 911, the 996.
You talking about
egg headlights?
Yes, the egg headlights. Yeah.
But it was
I like those colors.
You know what it is? I'm gonna give you a comparison. Remember when Jeep came out with the square headlights for the Wrangler?
Yeah.
Now you listen. Let me tell you something. Most people hate it. Now you had a very small niche, enthusiast group that loved the square headlights, but it's only a couple people that really liked it. Most people hated the square headlights. That's the reason why they went back to round.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they got it together for the 997, but I mean the 996 is just a good deal, man. I think that car for the last 6-7 years price has just been stagnant, and
Ty City?
I think everybody picking up the 6-speeds, and until the 6-speeds all gone, then I think the price will move.
But you know what, Ty City? I wonder if you could actually graft, like, say for instance, you went to a junkyard. Perhaps you can even graft a round headlight variant onto the 996.
They've already done that. They've already done that. They've done Frankenstein sort of. Yeah, they've done Frankenstein sort of transplants and stuff like that. That doesn't come out very well.
It doesn't. Oh, okay.
No. The thing is, the reason why people don't like it because it's such a deviation from the 993.
But you know what? You know the Porsches from the air cooled Porsches, whenever they go slant nose, how you feel about them?
You mean like the 9? What series was that? The 935?
Yeah.
I like those. I like those.
Nah, yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind those either. I think that look is period correct.
Yeah. I totally agree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I never had an issue with those. I always thought that they were pretty dope for the time that they, like you said, the period. But the problem with the 996, man, it was all over the place, and even Porsche admitted that it was all over the place. It really didn't live up to the standards of other cars of that generation. It wasn't distinctive. Well, not that it wasn't distinctive. It wasn't enough to separate itself price wise.
I figured out what it is. I finally figured out what the problem is.
Okay.
You know what the problem with the Cayman and and all the variants GT4? It reminds me of an MRS Spider.
Okay.
Do you remember the Toyota MRS Spider?
Yeah, we were just talking about those.
That's what it reminds me of. It's the doggone headlight shape. Like, yeah, that's what it is. I figured out what it is.
I like the MR2 Spiders. I met a guy who track raced a case swapped.
Whoa. MR2 or MRS? There's a big difference.
Well, we're probably talking about the same thing. The MR2 Spider was what it was called in the US, and the MRS was what it was called everywhere else. The mid-engine, the smaller with the onesie.
Yeah.
And then it had the Toyota sequential.
It was probably making 130 horsepower, I think. If I'm not mistaken.
Right, and had the Toyota sequential 6-speed manual.
Now, the MRS, I'm not saying that, again, if I had the opportunity for a good deal on one, I would get one too, because, I mean, it's a mid-engine car. Who wouldn't want to get that, right? But what I'm saying is that for a Porsche to have, some type of, I don't know, like similarities from an aesthetic standpoint to the inferior Toyota MRS. That's the reason why it's unappealing when you have it next to the 911. Now, if the Cayman was the only model that Porsche manufactured and you didn't have anything else to compare it to, then by all means you would be ecstatic about it. But just when I look at the 911, it's just like, man, it's a no-brainer. I'd rather have the 911.
Mhm. Where's Complex at?
He's at the Boost Mobile store.
No, I think he has an iPhone now. Um,
I like the 930s, the 930 911s.
yeah, those are dope too. I think that I don't know if there's a air cooled Porsche that I did not favor.
Yeah. What about
thing
those
is-
super Beetles?
Yeah, the thing is, man, I can't fit in those, man, comfortably without the seat being modified, man.
How tall are you again?
14?
I'm 6'4".
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're real tight, man. They're really, really tight.
Yeah, I remember the first time I saw a 930 in person. It was at a track day, and I was like, man, these are actually pretty nice looking. I like how they look.
Yeah, they grow on you, man. A lot of those air cooled Porsche and stuff like that actually grow on you because you don't see them anymore. So
It's rare. It's rare.
yeah.
I saw a 993 GT2 once in my whole life on the street.
Wow.
Yeah,
I
it
think
was
they only
crazy.
made like 1,000 of them, if I remember
think-
correctly.
I think it was definitely a 993. It might have been a replica, but I was like, holy shit. Had a cage, it was black. It had a presence.
All right, let me get to this next article. This one's from carandriver.com. 2020 Toyota Supra versus the BMW M2 versus the Ford Mustang Shelby GT350 versus the Porsche 718 Cayman. I think this is unfair, man. I don't see why the Cayman gets put in there. All the rest of the cars are front engine. Why is the Cayman inside that comparison? I don't know.
Price?
Nah, I can't see it. People, yeah. I mean, you could say price, but I understand the Mustang versus the Supra versus the M2. The Cayman does not have the power plant necessary to even hold a candle to any of these other ones, man. I would have thought they would have put at least the 370Z in there or something like that.
Well, I mean, okay, so when we talk about the actual vehicles themselves, you know, for a lot of purists, it's more than just power application. This is the reason why the MX-5 continues to sell in droves, because even though what it lacks in power, it makes up for in handling characteristics. So I think that's a big component. The Cayman 718 provides that the other cars don't.
I got a good up close look at that new Supra, man.
What's your opinion on it?
Man, let me tell you, you open the door and it makes the BMW sounds. And then like it's just not a good look, man. And
I don't know.
I can see people trying to make it something that it's not, and it's just that ain't it, Chief.
Yeah.
But I mean, but isn't it better for the Supra to make BMW sounds than the BMW to make Toyota sounds?
I would say
mean,
so.
let's be honest.
No, I mean, I'm talking about when you open the door of a BMW, it chimes.
Yeah.
Like they even left all of that in there.
Well, what are they going to replace it with? I mean, what other Toyota could they replace it? You know,
But I think what he's saying that the time is a simple fix.
Put a different sound file in there.
I guess trying to just at least don't make me think I'm getting into a BMW when the car says Supra on it.
Plus, the engine design is just not. Don't even get me started.
There's a video. Stefan Papadakis did a video on the capability of that engine. I think it's called the B58. I haven't seen it yet, but it's looking good so far.
No, I seen that build. I seen it, and good luck. It's not
good luck as far as what? Longevity?
No, I mean, if you go and you build that engine, like I said before, the timing components are encased between the transmission and the engine. Like
Yeah.
it's just not. It's not. It's
That's
not
pretty
tuner
buggy.
friendly, bro. And
Well, they
and
just
I
made
think
it.
that
They made it a little bit harder.
yeah,
Well,
it's
then
not
then the
tuner friendly.
plastic components as well. So I'm wondering if the aftermarket will make some of those plastic components a metal variants or something like that. Maybe some type of high strength aluminum or something like that.
For the
As
intake
opposed to some-
manifold.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I don't know.
That's what they tend to do.
I was looking at the engine. It looked like they made it purposely not to be messed with.
Yeah, well, that is a kind of standard BMW engine too. It's not like it's
Because the turbo engine that they was putting in the 335s, like those are very tunable engines. You know what I'm saying? And
that's an N54 though, right?
yeah, the
N54
N54. They
and
starting to
the
crack. They even starting to crack the 55s now.
Yeah.
But the one that's inside the Supra and the Z4 is not an N50, not an N54, right?
No, it's a totally different engine.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's a different animal altogether.
Pretty
Yeah,
sure
but
it's called a B58.
Yeah, but even with the N54, all they doing is setting up auxiliary injectors, add a bigger turbo, and it's 700 horsepower all day long.
Damn.
Yeah, and with a flash factory ECU, they doing that with.
Did you get inside of it though?
Yeah, I wasn't impressed, man. To be honest.
They're asking a lot of money for it, man. I don't know how they're gonna sell that thing compared to like because it sits right next to the C8. I don't know,
Well,
man.
well,
It's got a torque converter transmission. That
Are you
is
sure it's not a
nuts.
DCT?
No,
Mike, come on, Mike.
I think Ty City be hating sometimes, man.
No, it's a torque converter. No, but here's the thing, though. See, the Supra,
Mhm.
if you look at the Supra without the C8,
Mhm.
it's a no-brainer because just based on the pedigree of the Supra, but I think the execution of it was poor. That was the only thing. Like if they would have remained true to the Supra legacy,
Mhm.
had an available manual transmission, you know, had an engine that was more tuner friendly. Obviously, people are going to be able to extrapolate tunes, but like people that want to do a lot of the stuff themselves, they're gonna have a hard time. You know what I mean? Like you have to take it to a shop for every little thing to get done to it. So I think that's the issue with the Supra. Then the price, because the price I think is congruent with what the old Supra cost when you inflation adjust the MSRP. What do you think?
It is. I would agree with that. But the thing is, man, Toyota
yeah,
should have
but
just went.
that Supra was in direct competition with the Skyline, the NSX, the RX-7, the 3000 GT. Like this one is just like, I
It's
mean,
contemporary. It's
I
very
don't know, man.
contemporary.
They dropped the
Me,
ball. In
me and my
time,
buddy,
they'll see. We'll look back at this and be like, yeah,
me and my buddy had a conversation about. I said the Supra was going to be a flop because it's not what everyone expected it to be, and he had a strong argument against that.
Mhm.
He brought up like the price and everything, the MSRP,
Mhm.
and he said that at the time when the Mark IV Supra came out, no one really knew about it. I mean, no one knew about it. The only reason why the Mark IV Supra is big now is because the Fast and the Furious
Yep.
really brought out what people were doing with that car.
Well,
Only reason. Well, go ahead.
Well, I mean, Complex, you in California, so when Gran Turismo came out, people was trying to cop them Supras. Don't lie.
no, I mean, the Supra got a lot of victories in the GT series.
No,
Like,
I'm talking about the Gran Turismo video game. Even before Fast and Furious, Gran Turismo video game.
Oh yeah.
Put Supra on the map. I remember people was like, people was trying to get the Supras. They was trying to get Skylines. Like I remember seeing right-hand drive Skylines when Gran Turismo came out. Like people like, because you got some of these wealthy Asians, like soon as it came out, they went and imported, and then some of them they got their cars demolished because they did some sneaky stuff on how they imported it, and it wasn't correct, and so they got their cars demolished. But there was a time when they was riding around with these right-hand drive Skylines.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
But yeah, I was just basically saying the Supra was a flop because everyone expected like the progression that the GTR had. The GTR came back out in like '08 with at least 400 horsepower, all-wheel drive, competing with Porsches and everything else, setting like fast lap times on the Nürburgring. And the Supra seems to like not be living up to what people expected it to be. But
Dude,
my friend said
they didn't even put a Targa version out.
We'll just have to wait and see what the sales numbers are.
Yeah, because obviously BMW has a Z4 convertible, so
yeah.
But complex. Now you
complex
said,
isn't there.
Who is that?
He's here, but he's not responding. I think there's something.
Oh, that's Jackson. That's Jackson. My bad.
Yeah, Ellis Jackson. Yeah.
Me.
Okay, so y'all kind of sounded like, man, through these earphones, but I got these earphones in. But so with the Supra, right? And now you mentioned the horsepower discrepancy when you talk about progression between the Skyline R34 Skyline and the current iteration GTR. But remember that the power rating for the Supra was understated.
Yeah.
So like when they look at the actual power that was reported at the crank, they're actually making that type of power at the wheels. And so at the crank, they're making, at the wheels. Actually, more than that at the wheels. There's like 400 foot-pounds of torque at the wheels. So the actual crank, power output is obviously, substantially more. Yeah. So I think that the power rating at the crank, they're estimating over 400 horsepower at the crank.
Yeah, I like that they did that.
Yeah. All right, let me knock this one out again. This one's from Motor1.com. 2020 Corvette spotted in rapid blue. Better watch out for Gargamo. I don't know how I'm feeling this, man. It's too blue.
You know what? The rapid blue became popular because Mustang offered it. And so
Mustang, it was called Grappler Blue.
Grabber Blue. Yeah. And I'm like, I mean, I don't understand what the big hubbub is like. Cause like you go in like some of these forums, people are literally going crazy over this color. Like it's not even that big of a deal.
It doesn't fit well with that with the car, man. It's too blue.
It's a nice color, but it's like the American take on like crazy Lamborghini yellows and greens from back in the day.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of it.
To me, it looks like a Ford blue on a.
Well, you know what it really, especially with those wheels that are on the car, right? I mean, those wheels, like who's making some of these design decisions at Corvette?
If you squint, it looks like the spare wheel for the GTO and like some of the Malibus and stuff.
Wow.
Those wheels are terrible. No, because really, those wheels look like they're probably about 15 years late.
Well, yeah, I would agree with that because I think the car needs like it's screaming for like a Liberty Walk kit or something.
Yeah.
Where's Ty City when you need him?
That's a spirit.
I can even see the metal clip-on weights on the outside of the wheels.
Would you say, Ellis?
I can even see the metal clip-on weights on the outside of the wheels.
That's crazy, man.
The ones that you hammer onto the steelies.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I don't know. I think it just has it's too much. It doesn't have enough contrast, right? I mean, okay, you have the side scoops. That's fine, but it should have been carbon fiber if that's going to be the case. Like the black accents should have been carbon fiber.
Right.
You know what it is, Mike? See, it looks like they've had this Corvette in design for like 15 years.
Yeah.
And so now they came out with the Corvette based on a design they started 15 years ago.
Ooh.
and it shows. It really shows. Now I'm a big fan of Corvette transitioning to mid-engine. I'm all for it. I mean, it still is a decent looking car,
Yeah.
but when you look at it compared to supercars of today, they kind of dropped the ball. I mean, but at the
Cheers,
price point, can you really complain?
I'm telling you what it is, man. It's the safety standards, man.
That
Nah.
and you can't compare it to a Lamborghini Huracan, man, in terms of design.
Yeah, that's another thing because that's the first thing they're going to try to compare it to is a Huracan, right? Or Audi R8. It just seems anemic. Like everything seems like it'd be like an afterthought. And I agree with Triz, man, that it does seem like they designed it maybe during the Obama era.
And then how about those lines on the hood too?
Yeah,
Those, like,
yeah.
green
It
lines.
seems really, really cobbled together. It sounds like somebody handed off the design multiple times. You know, they got stuck in the design language phase.
What's
Well, what
the
happened is they tried to make a progression of the C7 Corvette, and so you see a lot of elements that maybe don't translate as well to the mid-engine layout.
Mhm.
And I think that was and then they tried to incorporate the tail lights, try to have some design language, brand across the brand design language.
Mhm.
And you see that on the tail lights that look just terrible. The back end looks terrible. I'm gonna be honest. The back end looks terrible. The front end, I mean, it's okay. I mean, the overall design of the Corvette,
I'm
it's
telling you,
okay.
man.
It's okay. It's just
Those
okay.
headlights, the headlights shouldn't be that high above the ground. It's like
Facts.
it's
But
just
you
can
know that's
tell
probably is
it's safety regulations, man.
safety. That's it.
That's
Safety
why they're building
regulations,
these
and
cars
also
around now.
Well,
you
Ferrari and Lamborghini don't have that problem.
yeah,
Neither
but
does
they're low value. They're low value. They're low value.
But Ferraris in them, they do a better job at disguising and making tricking your eye. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like I don't think that Chevy and the Americans have gotten that yet.
has anyone, speaking of Ferrari, has anyone ever seen the new the F8 Tributo?
I haven't
Of
seen it.
course.
I haven't gone to my dealership yet to even see if it's there yet.
What do you guys think about the new taillights?
I like the
I haven't
F8.
seen
I
it.
like the F8 more. What's that other one? The one that's the hybrid. What's the other one that slotted above the F8?
No, I don't know that.
Yeah, no, there's one that's slotted above the F8. Anyways, the F8 looks better than the one slotted above it. I'm gonna just say that.
You see, I was digging the design, but I was watching a video of it, and people started pointing out that it looked like it had Lotus taillights, and I was like, shit, it does.
Oh, that's
Now,
funny because Lotus copied Ferrari.
Oh, okay. I was talking about the Ferrari SF90, the SF90 hybrid. I think the F8 Tributo looks better than the SF90 Stradale, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Stradale, yeah.
SF90.
SF90. Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
I'm looking at it right now.
You know what? Listen, I'm probably on my own on this
Hey,
one.
Mike, could
Call
you
me
live
crazy.
without that?
I can't stand it. I think it's the ugliest Ferrari I've ever seen.
I'm not a huge fan of the front fascia.
Yeah, I think it's the ugliest Ferrari I've ever seen. That's just my personal opinion.
But
Hey, Mike, could you live without that side scoop on the side?
Nah, man. You need something to bring in there. It needs to be carbon
Something's
fiber,
gotta-
man.
because there's
You know
a lot of surface area right there.
But see, that's what I mean by they don't know how to make it look. I think they could have did that a different way. It looks bulky.
It's an afterthought. That's what it is, man.
It's going against every line on that car.
Actually, in
Yes.
this picture right here, it looks good to me. In this picture, in this angle right here, it looks good. With the color and the angle.
I think
You know what it looks like from that angle? It
Mhm.
looks like it looks damn near like a Hyundai what's that?
Tiburon.
Genesis coupe.
Oh,
Like the front end. I mean,
No, nah, come on.
No, it doesn't look anything like that.
they dropped the ball on this car.
I know. Well, I know Trish is a nurse and all, and you might have some methamphetamine or something, but but you know that red end, man, that red end dispels Camaro,
Camaros.
RS. Yeah, man, just like, oh, man.
It's funny because remember when they were trying to make the Camaro look like the Corvette?
That's the problem with GM. Like, there's no progression to the
And then
Corvette, right?
there
It's
was
just,
a time like back in '04, they put Corvette taillights on everything,
yeah,
like the Cobalt. Or
yeah.
that's 05 or '06. The Cobalt, the Impala, everything had Corvette-inspired taillights.
Man, you know what it is about the back end? It's like it's squished in the center line. Like somebody just took their finger and like some type of haptic, haptic command on Photoshop and squished it in the center line.
Yeah, and then it looks
but
pretty
look,
squared off. The back of it looks pretty squared off too.
Well,
I mean, okay, look it. You know what? You know who knows how to do the back end of a car? Like, if you look at a Porsche 911, that's how you do a car behind.
Yeah,
That's how you do a car
flares
behind
and everything.
Porsche nails it. They should get some of these Porsche designers or something, because
I don't
a
think
big
it'll work
disappointment.
because they like that muscular thing, man.
That's not muscular. That's just plain ugly.
No, that's look at the side of that car. It's just, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's bulging and it's not sleek.
It has a square butt.
Yeah, it's a BBW.
Oh man, come on, man.
You gotta take out one of those B's.
I don't know, man. Y'all got me looking at this thing different, man. I'm looking at man. I gave it, man. Come on, man. I gave this car a pass, man. Y'all got me here inspecting it now.
Listen, let's be clear. Let's be clear. As hard as I am on the car, I'm just being objective, right? I still plan on getting one.
Honestly, I can see myself.
The Z06.
I can see myself getting a C7.
I mean, I like the C7, but I want that mid-engine. So I really want to get the C8, but I want to get the Z06 version.
I'll just get the MR2 Spider for the mid-engine.
Well,
yeah, I'll tell y'all this: they halted production on the C8. Just so y'all know, they on strike.
Yeah.
Oh,
They didn't even have one for the state fair. They had to wait and get what they waiting for different events to end before they can get moving the ones that they already got built.
damn.
I mean, it looks terrible from that angle. What? It looks terrible. Look at the wing, the way it's shaped. Like, literally, somebody squeezed.
You know what? I think Mike pulled up this blue car on purpose, man. I see what you did, Mike. Because I see this car in a gray, and I seen this car in a different blue, and they both was hard to me, bro. I see what you're doing, Mike.
Listen. My mom had a Tiburon. I ain't crazy. I know what a Tiburon looks like. My mom had one. Matter of fact, my mom had two Tiburons. Two different model years. I know what the Tiburon looks like from the side.
I mean, just look at the gas door, man. Like, it's just a circle, and that's it. It's not carbon fiber. It doesn't stand out. It's not like the Audi R8 where it has that billet sort of design to it.
Apparently, that was first started on the Audi TT.
Yeah, it was, but I'm saying the R8. I'm saying if you want to compare it to an R8, that's what stands out, right?
Even
well, I'll tell you right now, if that side scoop was more like the scoops on the C7, a little bit higher above the tire, the whole side of that car would be sleek.
Okay, so I have a question then. Which looks better, the C7 or the C8?
I'm feeling the C7 Grand Sport right now, man.
They made a big deal about this mid-engine Corvette, and now you guys are saying that the C7 looks better.
Well, hey, listen, I'm still getting the C8. I don't care. because I want that mid engine.
Hey, they said when since the engine in the back that it suit taller drivers. What they
It
said, give 'em more
does.
leg room.
It does, especially with the top off or the T top down. But
You poke your
Yeah,
head up.
Mike. Yeah, Mike. You don't. Yeah, if you get a rollover, you're gonna wish you had that T top up.
Man, I see what you're doing, Mike. They got the ground clearance setting all the way up.
Yeah.
well, it
I
has
see-
magnetic suspension, dude.
I see what you're doing, Mike.
That is pretty tall.
Not
You know what it
really.
is? It's
Have you seen them in person?
It's the
No,
front
I
fascia
haven't.
too.
It's actually pretty low, man. It's a really low car.
Okay.
The front fascia makes it look higher off the ground too. The way they got the that the headlights set up high, it just makes it look like it's higher off the ground.
To me, the headlights don't look that high. Like that's not the first thought that comes to my mind when I see that.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, they high. You could tell they tried to push it. See, a lot of people did that. It's like that on the GTR too. They try to make the headlights come from further back, and they make them stretch all the way to the front.
Yeah, it's
It
because of
gives
the
it the
damn
illusion.
safety standards.
Yeah.
Well,
That's ruining the look.
Well, you know what it is though. A lot of it is based on. So what happens is that insurance companies look at crash standards, like if it's 5 miles an hour, like how much damage it like you should be able to withstand a 5 mile per hour without any damage, significant damage. And certain things like repairability and stuff like that really affects insurance rates. You know, insurance companies, believe it or not, could have a lot of control over the automotive industry.
Oh yeah.
And it's really unfortunate. They got a lot of control. And a lot of stuff that we see in cars that we don't like is because of insurance companies.
Yeah.
See, it looks better here.
I know it might sound like blasphemy, but I'm color matching that side scoop, man.
Yeah, me too. I agree, Ty City.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Can you do some Microsoft Paint on this and try and color match that real quick? So you get an idea.
No, actually, I think can't you do it on the actual design site, the website?
yeah, you can, but it charges you more.
But I mean, like just to get an idea of what it looks like for Jackson. If you go to the actual the Chevrolet website and do the build your own
Oh yeah.
Corvette, you can actually color match it.
Paul
Okay.
Bryant, what's going on, bro? Got your hand raised?
Good morning, gentlemen. How is
What's
everybody?
up, Paul?
Chilling, man.
So,
I see you guys are looking at the C8 on this fine morning, and that side scoop on that door, and I've said this before. That is typical of American styling. A mid-engine car cannot work without side scoops. They have to feed the air intake. Fine, but that scoop, no part of that scoop should be on the door. It should be on the rear quarter panel. It should not be on that door. And that is a gimmick. That is typical American styling. It's big and clunky and ugly. Cars, other manufacturers have soft touch panels, pop out handles, touch sensitive handles. GM comes up with that. Look at this, what Mike has on the screen right now. This is a C7. To me, personally, C7 is a better looking vehicle than that C8. Now, look, listen.
I see what Mike doing in his propaganda. No, I'm looking at C7s totally different. I never went back and forth with these cars like this.
Dude, you can get a Grand Sport right now for like 48K.
Oh, and
I think the ZOs in the mid 50s, right?
Nah, you won't get it. Yeah, the ZOs are probably up there in about 60.
What about those rear taillights on that C8 Vet? It looks like a Camaro. I mean, come on.
That's
man.
what we were just talking about. You're coming in a little bit late, but that's what we were just talking about. Super Triz does not like angles of that C8. He kind of puts his hater shades on and looks the other way.
And the wheels. I mean, like basically, Paul Bryant. What I said was that
they basically, it looks like they basically start designing this Corvette 15 years ago. And so this is the reason, basically, we're getting a 15-year-old car that they just basically slapped some stuff on just recently, try to update it and spruce it up a little bit. But, at its core, it's a 15-year-old design.
Yeah, but that's typical of American automotive technology in general.
Imagine
You an
opening
American
that
hater,
door.
though.
Is 10
You an
years
American
behind
hater.
the Germans. Yeah, with
Imagine
good
opening
reason.
that door and
Because
having
they're
part of that
always
scoop
behind
come
the
out.
Germans. I'm sorry? What's that?
I was just saying, imagine opening that door and seeing part of the scoop come away
Exactly.
from itself.
You know what? Thank you. Exactly. Because I am willing to bet that is nothing but injection molded plastic. And I can, I want to see how many women are going to get their skirts caught on it, how many men are going to get their pants ripped and torn on that thing before
Here we
GM
go.
has to redesign that cheap 25-cent injection molded plastic. Horrible.
Oh man, I could just feel
On a
the
car?
texture right now.
On a car that costs
Yo.
almost 70 grand. Horrible.
Okay, look how this car sitting right here, bro. This ain't like the blue one, bro.
Look at the gloss.
I see what you
color
did,
match
Mike.
the vent. Color match the vent.
Put the grabber blue on it so we can see how it looks from this angle. Rapid blue.
It's not. Well, okay. Let me see. Rapid blue. Yeah.
Premium. It's down with the premium.
Oh, he
Color
got it.
match.
That's it right there. See, it looks
Weird.
better. It looks better from this angle.
Yeah, you can't
Well, yeah.
modify the.
It's a GM perfect angle.
Yeah, you can't modify. You can't modify the scoops without changing the package.
Oh.
What about the Motegi wheels?
Wow.
You know what? Those wheels.
Motegi
Those look like 360 Modena wheels from like early 2000s. Like,
Wow.
I'm telling you, this is a 15-year-old design.
You know what, Triz? You might be onto something, bro.
Ain't no
All
honest something. I'm
jokes
telling you
aside.
what they did, and I'm very disappointed in this.
All jokes
Huh.
aside, you might be onto something. Because look at that rear end. That is a Chevy Camaro if I've ever seen one. Look at it. The tail lights, the exhaust pipes, the tips.
No, and Paul Bryant. What is this nonsense above the tail lights? Look at that little square above the tail lights. That little, what is that? It's like a rhomboid, or it looks like it look like a four-sided right below that right there. What is that?
Some kind of
Those are the
polygon.
vents. Those are the
Well,
vents.
I know what it is, but I'm saying design-wise, what
They're
is
way
it?
too small. They're
Yeah,
way
they're-
too small.
Well, you have to remember it's a push rod. It's not like the typical. Excuse me.
The twin cams.
Yeah, it's not like that. It's because it doesn't need a whole lot of ventilation. But then again,
I disagree, Mike.
well, I'm saying for what they consider, from what they consider, it doesn't need a whole lot of ventilation. From what I listened to on Jay Leno when he did his spiel on it, man, that's what he was told too. So,
I get that. I understand that. And I'm not disputing you. I'm not at all. But what I'm saying is GM seems to have forgotten all the complaints about overheating by their customers with the C7. And you know what? If you look at the McLarens, every model, the vent wraps around the entire back to facilitate cooling for a mid engine.
And they did that with the F42, right? Like the entire back of it is like a mesh with the tail light, where the taillights are, that black mesh.
Exactly, because these things need cooling. They need ventilation, which you don't have because the engine is in the back. But so
the MR2s they put straight snorkels on MR2s.
But I thought those snorkels were for air intake, not.
They're talking about
not
NACA duct.
venting.
It's called a NACA duct.
Yes, thank you. Sorry.
NACA, yeah.
Yeah. My point is, in my opinion, those vents are way too small for a mid-engine.
let's look at the look at the price of a C7 right now, man.
I think it was 58. I saw 58 on the website.
Right.
You know what, Mike? This
No,
might
he's talking
be
about
a
a used
case.
one.
this might be a case where the C8 comes out, flops, and the price of the C7s just skyrocket.
That's fucked up.
That could be the case too. That could be.
Nah,
Especially the
nah,
manual
that's not gonna
C7s.
happen. That's not gonna happen. Come on.
Or you
That's
leave
a
it up to
stretch.
Super Trez, he'll tell you otherwise.
Nah, that's not gonna happen. Nah, like I said, they did drop the ball, but I think it's gonna sell this fine. Now the only issue that's gonna interfere with the success of the C8 is this doggone strike.
Oh yeah, they better stop playing around.
Yeah.
What about the sentiment of the UAW workers that put them together?
They probably sabotaged it. Probably wrote their name in there, or left some fucking coins in.
You'll see a lot of penis drawings on the inside of the panel.
Yeah, Brad was here.
Yeah, on the inside of the panels,
Hey,
under the floor mats and stuff.
Oh no.
they was making $30-something an hour on the C7.
Wow. I mean, 90,000 miles on a Stingray. Damn, where the hell did you drive to?
Everywhere.
2015. God damn. How is that physically possible on a 2015?
Well, he's in Texas, so I guess that goes without saying.
You know what? He probably had to move out in the boondocks to afford that car note because he couldn't afford rent and car note.
That was a daily driver.
It could have been a commercial vehicle too. I know some people buy those vehicles and slap their advertisements and stuff on it. But you also have this 2015 right here going for $29K with 68,000 miles on it. So I guess people who bought them really liked them at some point. Look at this one right here, this white one. Let me click on it. 2LT. It looks nice.
Oh, Mike.
Yes, sir.
Did you get a chance to look at two videos that I sent you? So the it's a C8, the Z06.
Yeah.
It's 68,000, and the Stingray. If the guy is an actual dealer, he checked every option on the that GM makes. The car is 100 grand.
I expect that. Makes a lot of sense.
But you said
So-
this. What did you say? The Z06 C8 will start at 68. Is that what you said?
That's what the video, if I'm remembering what I saw from that video that I sent Mike, saying that they have the Z06 set, and so it's basically going to be 68 grand.
That can't be true, man. Because I mean that, like, I wouldn't even look at a Stingray with a base price of 68
unless
for the Z06.
Unless I'm as George Bush said, misremembering it.
No, you may be remembering right, but I think the person that provides the information, that just sounds like a stretch.
Well, the video was from a person who provided documentation from the dealer. So you know what? It's funny. I sent Mike the video. I have to look at it again because I literally may be misremembering it wrong. Because I saw it and I saw the price and I said, Superdriz told me that the C8s will fly out the showroom at 60 grand. And here we are, 68 to 70 grand.
Everybody's trying to get out of their C7s right now, man.
I'm telling you, the ZOs, man, they mid 50s, man.
Yeah. I mean, it makes a lot of sense.
Hey, Paul, the C8s ain't flying nowhere. They
ain't got no wings.
Hey, GM was on strike, man. I watched one video. I don't know if I sent that video to Mike. I watched the video, GM said that listen, the earliest delivery dates that they're hoping that they can't even promise that they're hoping for C8s to dealers for sale is mid to late December because they have to wait on the strike. They still haven't. They're still backlogged on C7s. Once they're done making the last batch of C7s, they're going to shut down the plant, retool the plant for like 1 or 2 weeks, and then begin production on the C8s.
They're gonna retool them, all right. They're gonna retool them without people.
I like
No
this one
problem.
over here. This is pretty nice. Well, not minus the wheels, but I like the interior.
Man,
39
Mike,
gray.
you down for driving? You down for the like the low level Corvette?
Not necessarily. I just like that one. I'm just looking at them just as a barometer as to what the temperature is on the market. Personally, I would like to have a Viper.
GTS.
Oh, I
Yeah,
always loved the Viper. Oh my gosh, yes.
so
Vipers
freaking
are
hard
so
to
sweet.
find, man.
You got to go on DuPont Registry.
And they
They have a
maintain their value too, isn't it? From what I heard, the rumor says that Ralph Giles wants to bring it back. So I don't know.
Yeah. Apparently, well, I've heard rumors that they want to bring it back as a mid-engine and but still keep the V10, which would be insane.
Hey Mike, how does Sergio feel about bringing back the Viper? Because at the end of the day, it's ultimately his call.
Well, Sergio's gone, right? He passed
Oh,
away, right?
oh, is he?
Yeah, I thought he
I
passed
thought
away already.
I thought he was still CEO of Fiat.
No, I thought he passed away in his sleep.
Okay,
Am I wrong? I mean,
I don't
you guys
know.
can correct me.
Let me look it up.
Yeah, I thought Sergio passed away a minute ago.
Black
I
car
don't know.
talk for sure. See that retainer, man. That what they call the retainer across the front, that little silver piece.
Yeah,
Yeah.
July 25th, 2018, he passed away.
Yeah, he's been
Oh
gone for a
wow.
while.
Okay.
You said, oh, the silver over across the grill.
Yeah, the narrow body with the red tail up. I couldn't do it, man.
Yeah.
I know you checking the temperature, but
Mm-hmm. Let's see what the Z06s are going for.
He died.
Americans love
He died of
chrome.
cancer at 66.
Yeah, they knew he was gonna die anyways.
So, who is the current CEO of Fiat?
I think they were looking at they had one person that filled the role just temporarily until they found somebody else. I'm not sure
It
if they went.
wasn't Jean Todt, was it?
I don't know.
you know what? The Z06, the C7,
It's
man.
Michael Manley. Michael Manley is the CEO. He used to be the head of Jeep.
So he's now the CEO of Fiat.
Fiat, yeah, Michael Manley. Since July the 21st of 2018.
Well, he over Fiat FCA. Remember, it's not just
yeah, FCA. Yeah, Fiat Chrysler Automobiles. Yeah.
because
Okay,
they're gonna because it's gonna be sold. It's gonna be transitioned over to the Chinese.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay. So who's in charge of Fiat Italy then? Well, you know what?
I would assume that he's in an active role until all the stuff gets transitioned over.
So, all right. So my question, because I'm clearly out of the loop, is the entire company being sold to the Chinese, or is Fiat selling Chrysler to the Chinese?
My understanding is that Fiat wants to sell Chrysler to the Chinese. I don't think Italy would allow Fiat and Ferrari to move over.
Gotcha.
I thought it was some with that they couldn't buy it directly off American.
Say that again, Ty.
from what I understood was they couldn't buy it directly from
Yeah, yeah, they wasn't
an
going to allow
American
that to
entity.
happen. Yeah, they wasn't going to allow that to happen. But this is the Chinese way of getting their getting into the American market.
But I
Yeah.
was under the impression that that no longer matters since Chrysler is 100% owned by Fiat. So technically, Chrysler is no longer an American company.
Yeah, but Fiat never really had the ambition to do what the Chinese want to do.
Got you. Makes sense.
Yeah, basically,
But I mean,
the Italians just got the debt of Chrysler and then handed them over.
Mm.
so you think they looking to just dissolve it?
To hand it over. That basically,
No, I'm saying to the Chinese.
yeah. Well, I don't think they're going to get rid of the Chrysler brand, but they'll use the Chrysler brand to push their own vehicles in.
Right.
That would be a major game changer. Chinese vehicles sold in America. Wow.
It'd be manufactured in China at very dirt cheap rates, at fucking $2 an hour.
Clearly, or less.
Yeah.
Clearly, yeah.
Well, they have the tooling, right? They have the factories, right? I mean, most of their factories are pretty automated at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know if they would. I don't know how they would meet the quality standards because Chinese products are mostly crap.
Well, the new stuff that I've seen in Latin America, a lot of that stuff is just basically a carbon copy of a Toyota for all intents and purposes, and it seems to meet crash safety standards.
Okay.
Because it's just a copy. But if that's going to be the case, and they're already copying Buicks,
right?
I wouldn't put that far. I wouldn't put the Chinese that far off the radar that they can potentially sell these vehicles. Now with this trade war, then the Americans may say, 50% tariff on vehicles made in China coming into the United States.
Which puts the UAW in a crazy position because then you would have American citizens working for an American union, working for a company owned by the Chinese.
Well, a couple of those old factories in Detroit, from my understanding, man, has been purchased by the Chinese.
Get out of town.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know what they're doing with them right now, but my understanding is they made some significant purchases of real estate. Now, what the Federal Trade Commission is going to do about that, I don't know. I think it seems to me they bought it fair and square.
Crazy times we are living in.
Or you already got Foxconn in what? Where's Foxconn in Wisconsin?
Really? Doing what?
Building Apple phones.
Really? Wow. Building. Wow.
If that's going to be the case, man, yeah, the UAW could find themselves obsolete, but in the next 10 years.
That's crazy.
Mike, you driving a Chinese Supra?
I probably wouldn't mind, man.
Yeah, but the Supra is a BMW, Ty.
No, I understand that. You got a German made Japanese Chinese car. Bro, strange times, man.
Strange times we are living in, gentlemen. Strange times.
I mean, it's gonna be interesting, man. Some of those Chinese vehicles, man, are not bad looking at all. I would say they look better than an Infinity. Probably I would say they're probably closer to that of a Lexus, maybe from like 2001.
The real question, and I don't remember if I sent you this video a while ago, Mike. The real question is, the German automotive industry, clearly the best right now, but they're actually facing their own uphill battle. They're actually playing catch up to electrifying their entire fleet. The Chinese, unbeknownst to many Americans, are actually leading the world now in designing and producing fully electric vehicles. And Germans are actually playing catch up. So while the market has not shifted, internally, the industry has shifted to electric vehicles. So I know Thai City was like, I'll never buy an electric vehicle. Guess what? They're coming because the manufacturers have fully shifted the game. They are all in on producing electric vehicles. The Germans seem to be caught on, well, listen, we created the engine, we created the car, we built the best cars, but the Chinese are saying, hey, that may be true, but there's a new sheriff in town.
Well, whoever's the first one to put an electric power plant inside of a Datsun 240, you'll be on the front. You'll be on the front cover of a magazine, man, or some website.
True
Yep.
that.
See, that's what I'm talking about, Mike. See, you didn't show us. You show us the Smurf one. See what I'm saying? That motherfucker mean, man. Come on, dog.
No, it has a really nice wing on it, but it's still a C8. Now I'll say this. I
The
will say
scoops are
this.
exaggerated too on the side.
It's the same scoops, bro. That's the same door, it's the same scoop. Now, how will this thing perform at Le Mans and the World Endurance Championship races? 24 hours of Le Mans, 24 hours of Nürburgring, 24 hours of Daytona, Laguna Seca, but that's one thing. That's one thing. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I want to see the C8 road car that you can buy from a dealer. I want to see how that performs at the Nürburgring and European racetracks.
Let me go through this real quick. All right, this one's from Jalopnik. Corvette Racing will battle the world with its new mid-engine Corvette C8R. We knew that the mid-engine Corvette would spawn a racing variant, but we weren't quite expecting to see it unveiled so soon. During the launch of the new Corvette convertible at Kennedy Space Center on Wednesday evening, Corvette factory racer Tommy Milner fired up his new racer and made a surprise debut on stage. This is the car that will carry the Corvette racing team through the 2020 IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, which begins with the Rolex 24 at Daytona in late January. I don't know, Thai City. What do you think about those fender flares?
Yeah, that's got a body line coming off of that scoop. That's totally different.
That's tough, right?
Man, that's hard, man. See
You
what I'm
like
saying?
you like these diaplanes here?
It's like a Ferrari 360, Medina.
Just American.
Yeah.
Yo, where's Triple X at, man? All right, the C8R is much more than just a race-tuned version of the 2020 Corvette Stingray. It's a culmination of many years of testing and development between GM design, propulsion, engineering, and the Corvette racing team, said Jim Campbell, Corvette USA Vice President of Performance and Motorsports. The collaboration between these teams has allowed us to take these vehicles' performance to the next level, both on the street and the track. I don't know, man. I mean, what is this going to cost? 140 grand, 160 grand?
Well, the C7R is not road legal. It's a full racing car, and I don't know the price offhand. I would be guessing, but I'd have to assume that a car like this is going to be about 3, 4, maybe even $500,000 because it's a full on race car.
Mm-hmm. While
Sorry.
while we don't yet have a confirmation on what technical specs of the car will be, it is expected to carry a 5.5 liter naturally aspirated flat plane crank V8 behind the driver compartment. Early rumors speculated that it might be turbocharged, but the recent audio of the car testing seems to indicate that it is not the case. Corvette Racing is North America's most successful sports car team with 107 race victories since 1999. In the last 20 years, the team has netted 13 team championships, 12 driver titles, and 12 manufacturer titles. 2015 marked the team's biggest success to date, winning the Rolex 24 at Daytona, the 12 hours of Sebring, and the 24-hour of Le Mans in the same season. Interesting. While the car has worn a yellow and black livery for most of those years, this time the number 4 car will put on a new silver livery with yellow accents. Also on the team will be the number 3's traditional Corvette yellow livery. So,
And the rear end is a
The-
flat black.
what are you gonna say to Sutras?
You read something that was very thought provoking. You said culmination of many years of testing. This substantiates my claim that this is a 15-year-old design. They started work on this 15 years ago. Culmination of many years of testing. It's an old car. Like Ty City just said, it's a 360 Modena with some Corvette design cubes. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
You might be onto something, bro. And I said that, and I honestly meant that. To me, this kind of to me this really gives a lot of more weight to what Super Trish just said. That this is an old design that they've been cracking at this thing for close to 10 years.
You know what it
racing.
is? You know what it probably is? It's probably it was like some like little side project, like hey, let's just see what would happen if we designed a midget Corvette. What would it look like? And blah blah blah. It was just like a thought after, like a thought, And then somebody looked at it. Oh, it looks nice. They brought us to the higher ups and was like, no, we're not gonna do that. So they get the green light, and they kept trying, every couple of years, and then finally they okayed it. But now they look up 15 years done passed since you started the design. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Corvette Racing will take on already committed competition from BMW's M8 GTE and Porsche's 911 RSR in the GTLM category. Ford dropped its factory support from the Chip Ganassi run GT squad, but the team might carry on with the program if it can secure enough sponsorship. There is no word yet on whether a Ferrari GTE will join the IMSA battle. So, Paul Bryan talks about Le Mans all the time, but it seems to me like they've achieved what Paul Bryan has been questioning.
No. I got a question.
I've
At this
always said
echelon of racing, what is the thought? What is the cost of running cost of, say, a C8 Corvette versus a Ferrari? Like at this echelon of racing?
Whoa! I was away. Sorry, dude. Business had business happened, but shit, we're talking racing now.
Yeah.
the vet has dominated its category at Le Mans for years. I've always said that. I've always given GM Racing credit for that. That C7R in its class has been a very dominant race car. Um, Complex knows this. Now, this article is saying that going forward, the C8R is going to compete in the same class as the Porsche RSR. That's stiff competition because that's a different class than what the C7 raced at. The Porsche 911 RSR, that car has been dominating its class in these races for years. So they're literally going up against the king if they want to race in that class.
So maybe what Ty City can do is he can get a body kit, CAR, and just put that on the Stingray. Put it on the Stingray.
Absolutely. Give me some coilovers, stance the shit out of it. You know the vibes.
And that's just the way he likes it, with the little stickers on the tire too. Fat
You know what?
lace.
Stupid dark tint,
You know what though?
big wing.
Nah. You got a fishbowl in the C8, so everybody see you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know the exact dollar amount offhand, super Triz, but running these full-on race cars, it's literally a multi-million-dollar venture. That's why most teams that are not factory-based, they have to get sponsors.
My question is there a big difference in, say, for instance, a Ferrari versus the Corvette or a Porsche or something like that? Like, so my question would be like, what would be a compelling factor for somebody to say, well, you know what, maybe I'll go with the Corvette because it's cheaper to operate, the running costs may be cheaper, for my budget.
Isn't GM's a bigger company than Ferrari, so I would imagine maybe that has something to do with how much each team gets.
Yes and no, because
you can't just buy these, right?
Is racing. So Ferrari's only factory racing team is the Formula One team, but Ferrari provides full factory support for the teams that run their cars. They're called quote unquote privateers, but those privateers, they still secure advertisers, and then Ferrari provides the engines, and Ferrari actually sends their factory mechanics, and they actually work with the team, so they provide full factory support. So it is a very expensive proposition, whether it's Ferrari, Corvette, Porsche, like Manti Racing. They have a program with Porsche, like I said, the 911 RSR dominates their class. So it is still a very expensive proposition for professional racing. It's a multi-million.
Hey, Mike, I have my hand raised, dude.
Oh, really?
Sorry.
Yeah.
All right. All right, you should be good now. All right, let me get to this next one. This is the last one. This one is from Jalopnik again. The Corvette CAR flat plane crank V8 is coming to a streetcar, maybe the next Z06. I think this might be the same article. Yeah, it is. This is basically the same article.
They're late to the flat plane game.
Yeah, ahead of this weekend's Petit Le Mans race at Road Atlanta, Chevrolet unveiled new technical specifications for this Corvette CAR race car. Among them was a confirmation at the engine has a dual overhead cam setup with a flat plane crankshaft, much like the Shelby GT350 Mustang and various Ferraris. This is a significant change for the race car, but it's also big news for street version, which is happening. During the presentation, Corvette racing representatives shared that the engine is a V8 with 5.5 liters of displacement that produces approximately 500 horsepower and 480 pounds of feet. What? 400
pound-feet of torque.
Yeah, but it's kind of written in the janky way.
It's supposed to be the other way around, foot-pound.
Yeah, I'm not sure why Jalopnik can't spell.
Usually pound.
This seems in line with what we expected based on IMSA and FIA rules and the balance of performance measurements. The more interesting facts came after the presentation where Chevrolet representative confirmed to Jalopnik that due to those rules, Chevrolet will have to produce a streetcar version in order to race it.
It's called homologation.
So their answers, Super Triz and Tie City's question on whether or not this is coming to the street. Yes, it is.
No, it wasn't no question. I'm the one that said it. Now we got American car haters, Paul Bryant over there in Germany. but and then so yeah, it's coming, and at some point, Paul Bryant, you gonna have to bow down to the Corvette, and you got to bow down. You got to bow down to Hennessy.
I'm sorry, that guy. Okay, that's some sexy shit right there.
Yeah,
I know we were knocking. I was waiting to see it in this trim. Holy shit!
Oh, that's just the way Ty City likes it with those coffee can exhaust tips on there. His favorite stereo shop.
No. This is all function right here, man. This is all function.
Look at that.
Hey,
for the
complex.
street.
Hey, complex. That car. Hey, that car, that CA thick, ain't she?
It's sexy, dude. I cannot front.
You know what? Listen, I have to admit, that is a
I can't, dude.
beautiful-looking
That
vehicle.
shit looks nice.
That is a beautiful looking race car. I
Yeah.
am pleasantly surprised
Yeah.
because Americans do not believe in building flat plane crankshafts. I'm surprised that they're going that direction and joining the rest of the modern world. But
Paul Bryant, hop on board. Paul Bryant, come
no.
on board,
Oh,
man. Come on
shit.
board.
No.
Come on board, Paul Bryant.
Next thing you know,
I am more than comfortable at my German ultra speed. Thank you very much.
No, he has a Tahoe, so that he has a Tahoe SS, so he's okay.
But I will
Next
say
thing-
this: that is a beautiful looking race car.
Yeah, it really is. Wait. Tris, you asked a question about running costs. I was switching devices. That's why I really wanted to answer that question. What was it? What was your question?
So my question was, okay, so with like somebody who wants to get into racing, or this is not somebody who's already, obviously somebody who's going to race at this level with these type of cars is somebody who already has experience, right? So at this point, they're like, okay, so now we're looking at having like a race team, and we want to upgrade. We want to go from, maybe we were racing Camaros, now we want to go into a different class of cars. Right. And so now they're looking at the C8, they look at the Porsche RSR, they're looking at maybe some Ferrari variants.
Mm-hmm.
Would there be a significant difference in running costs based on the make and manufacturer?
Okay. All right. Let's see. There's going to be there's a number of factors involved, which is largely going to determine like where you're going to go, right? In terms of like what brand. So for example, you might have a guy who has maybe like a couple of Chevrolet dealerships and, like a few like domestic auto repair shops, right? So he's more aligned from a supply side standpoint with like GM, for example. So he would probably be more inclined to go with the C8R right here. Okay. You got guys who let's say they have like a car rental business, right? Where it's just basically all exotics, for example. Okay. Those dudes would probably be more inclined to run like a Ferrari because it's more inclined with their business model. Now, as far as running costs and operating costs, okay, so we have to kind of break it up into certain, from a budgeting standpoint, right? There's the entry costs for the races, for example, right? How much it costs to enter a vehicle to race. Okay. There's then the operating cost of the car itself. So there's how much fuel has to be used, cost of tires, how many sets. There's going to be the mechanic staff has to get paid, transport, right? There's going to be, and a few other variables that you factor in, right? And then there's just also what it is that you pad into that to kind of have as some sort of profit or something you can stick in the coffers or what have you. The driver pays it. Okay, depending on the type of arrangement that the team has with the drivers, if it's like, let's say the team has like 2 cars, right? Let's say they have two cars. One of them, they have drivers who are bringing like their own cash, and these guys are like guys that have like a committed budget for like an entire season. Okay, they go in the car with all the dope shit. Okay, that's your competition car. The other car is for your gentleman drivers. Okay, so that's the car that basically is kitted out, makes spec for the gentleman drivers class or like one of the lower tier GT classes. And you have different pricing models for both cars. So the gentleman drivers, basically, they pay the money, they pack up all their, their helmet, their gear, they show up, They show up, they do testing, they have their mechanics, all that. They pay for everything. The other guys that are running the hotter cars, okay, so they may be coming with backing from like technical partners, for example. Okay. So those dudes are probably like, marketing guys slash, drivers. And they are kind of like the go between like the motorsport teams and the technology firms that are maybe like they might be supplying some of the hardware on the car, for example. Okay, so there's kind of like a different approach depending on the class. Okay, because and then also when you're running in the higher levels, that's where you're going to tend to get more of a support from the factories. Okay, so there's a whole lot, man, quite honestly, that goes into it. And I mean, it's like I do it on a karting level. That's what I did. I ran my own program. So I had a driver that I had sponsored where I was basically the shop was footing the bill because he was a good shoe. And then you had the guys who would hit me up and say, "Hey, look, man, I want to come out and do that race." And then I say, "Okay, this is the cost. I'll have the cart ready. Just meet me out at the track." And there was a big cost difference, but this is how they keep this stuff running. Like you price it all out. Everything has to be covered.
And this is Ty City's favorite series of horse. So
Man, that's perfect to run like SCCA Carrera Cup right there.
Turbo though, dog. Don't do me like that.
No. Look at that 18.9. Like to run, like if you were to kit that up, then to run like Carrera Cup. That's a good. That'd be a good pickup, man, if you wanted to like build a Carrera Cup car out of it.
But the thing is, Ty City's mad.
What's going on with Ty City now, man? What's his...
Yeah, dude needs like his Ovaltine or something, man.
Yeah, what's going on with Ty City, man? Let's go with you, dude.
I think his toms are too small for him, man. He's got his
Mike.
toes all balled up.
Mike, does he need his Ovaltine or does he need his Milo?
One or the other. Maybe probably need to take the lumps out of his cream of wheat, man.
Nah, damn.
I like lumpy cream of wheat.
Oh man, he goes, man. He been at too many nursing homes, man. He been at too many nursing facilities, man. But Ty City was talking about Caymans, man, and he likes these Caymans. He likes these first gen Caymans.
First gens?
Yeah, he likes these, man. For whatever reason, he likes them.
I think the second gens look good and sound good.
Yeah.
Now, a complex, you might have missed it, but I was saying that from performance and driving characteristics and dynamic standpoint,
Mm-hmm.
I like all of the Caymans, with the exception of the 4-cylinder variants. Obviously, I would prefer to have a 6-cylinder variant, but from an aesthetic standpoint, I just firmly believe that 911 is far superior.
But see, the thing is, man, the Cayman is it's a good track. It's a good track car, man. There's a lot of guys in SoCal that track the hell out of these things.
Every reviewer who reviewed the Porsche Cayman when the Cayman first came out, they said the Porsche Cayman outhandles the Porsche 911 Turbo. The only advantage the 911 had was it had way more power.
That's it.
But
it's a mid-engine car. It's a mid-engine car. It's not a rear-engine car.
Yeah. You got to look at this thing kind of like look at it as like a German Miata in some regards.
Well, see, I thought it was just a hard top boxer, but it's totally different. It's not the same.
Yeah, it's a radically different car.
The Boxster was basically.
Oh, I just made one for me.
Dude, the Boxster is another little track animal.
Yeah, and they made a supercharger for him too. So
Yeah. Let's see. They track the hell out of those also.
yeah, see, I told this person before, man, who's into Porsche, man. I said, why don't you just get a convertible Cayman? He's like, oh, I'll look into that. Oh yeah, you do that, buddy. You do that. You're waiting right here for you. A convertible Cayman.
Hmm.
I looked those up.
We'll
Those
get a
are
hard top box.
yeah. He said he looked them up. He said they're hard to find. It's no shit.
But you know what I think though, as far as the perfect match between the driving dynamics of a Cayman plus the actual the power output to match would be the roof CTR Club Sport. Are you familiar with that, Paul Bryant?
Yes, sir, I am, and it is a rather expensive thing to find. It's even harder to find, but if you can get your hands on it, hey, by all means. But roof vehicles are expensive, but roof changes so much on the car that in Germany they're not considered a modifier. Roof is considered an actual manufacturer in their own right. The German government gives them VIN numbers because they change so much on the vehicle.
Hey, Ty City, this is what I was talking about right here. The Cayman R. That's what I was referring to earlier.
That looks nice.
Oh yeah, that's one right there. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand why these, the Cayman and the well, especially the Boxer, why they didn't kind of go with that a little bit more, man.
It's an entry level. It's an entry level Porsche. It's not meant to be anything other than that. And they have another Porsche that's coming out. That's Porsche that's supposed to be coming out. That's supposed to be more entry level than the Cayman. So
now,
but
can
see,
someone?
That's the thing because the Macan comes in at a lower price point. But the thing about the Cayman is that if they start increasing the performance too much, I think they were afraid that it would cannibalize 911 sales.
Why did they introduce the 718 version with the flat four?
Emission standards are pushing them in that direction.
Really?
Have y'all ever seen the Cayman that Busy Moto
in Germany?
built?
Yes.
Yeah, the single seater.
Yeah, the middle seater.
The middle seat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, BZ's on some other. Dude, BZ's on some other shit. Dude.
Yo, that Cayman is nuts.
Yeah, BZ's on some next shit, dude. Straight up.
Yeah, Jackson. I think in Germany they want to ban combustion engines in major city centers. Paul Bryant, what's the progress on that? Are they still trying to ban the combustion engines like in Frankfurt and Munich and Berlin? Like if you're like inside the city?
Yes and no. They're looking at congestion pricing. The thing is, at a state level, they're trying to move. Excuse me. They're trying to follow Scandinavia, as far as having, I believe it's a certain percentage of full electric vehicles versus internal combustion engines, because Germany is trying to follow the Scandinavian model in that they're looking within the next 10 to 20 years, they want 100% full electric vehicles on the road.
Damn.
Yeah. So the government is telling them, the automotive industry, they said, well, look, listen, you invented the engine, you invented the car, so this should be a walk in the park for you. And basically, from automotive journalists are kind of saying that for once they've been kind of resting on their laurels, but now it's time for them to really put that industrial and manufacturing genius to work in creating full electric vehicles. So,
but my thing is in Europe though, like you look at the proportion of car ownership versus people who use public transportation and to a certain extent bikes. Like you go to Heidelberg. I mean, when I went to Heidelberg, I've never seen that many bicycles in my life. Period. I mean, it's like literally a million bicycles out there.
Well, Paul Bryant owns one of those bikes too.
I sure do. I cycle, but bro, I love cycling. A passion for it.
So if you look at the proportion of car ownership, probably Europe is a lot lower car ownership than the United States already.
Yeah, but Europe is, here's the thing though, right? European countries have less people, so it's not so much about ownership. Europe's thing is at a state level, governments want to move away from fossil fuels totally. So the way that they're look, the way that they're looking at it is the easiest way to do so. Transportation, make all the cars and buses and trucks full electric. You're moving away from fossil fuels. Germany closed down its last coal mine in 20 toward the end of 2018, and they've been closing down coal-fired power plants in favor of alternative forms of energy. So this is being driven at the state level. The auto manufacturers have zero choice in this. They have to go full electric. That's why we have the Porsche Taycan, and that's why we have the Audi e-tron, and that's only going to continue.
Well, they also have signed up to this Paris climate agreement, which
Right.
is forcing them to do things that they typically would not have done. Maybe that's probably why Trump pulled out of that.
Yeah, but you know what though? Not for nothing. And politics aside, all right. Donald Trump, President Trump, was born in the same city that I was. All right, and I can tell you for a fact, climate has changed. The causes I won't get into. I won't debate. I will say this: by the middle of September, when I was growing up, we were wearing jackets. Okay. By the time October came around, it was cold. Jackets, hats, and gloves. We got snow a week after Halloween, and we got snow all the way into Easter, sometimes even into early May. Now, you don't see snow until February. Last winter, it snowed
Yeah.
3 days. That's it. All right. The summers are hotter, they're lasting longer. So, for him to say climate change is a hoax is just bollocks, as they say in Britain. But with all of that aside, you know what? It's a mess. It is what it is.
I mean, that may be true where you at, but where I'm at, listen, it snowed like in November last year. This year, the summer was super short. It didn't really get hot. Like I only used my AC like maybe like 2 days. It's been cold for the past month already. Like I'm talking about cold where you're not going outside without a jacket, and like during the daytime too.
Right, but see, I'm not saying. Listen, I don't necessarily believe the whole global warming thing, but climate change. So, um, here
Okay,
here in
I see.
Germany,
Yeah.
here in Germany in the summertime, Europe saw a massive heat wave. For me, it's like, all right, whatever. I grew up in this. For them, they were melting. But I've noticed, like even now, like, since I'm back in Germany, it's a little warmer for this time of year than it was just last year. So that's, climate change. That's what I'm saying. Things are definitely changing.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you for the weather report, Paul.
It was
I would
appropriate because we were talking
This
about
guy.
Emissions Tie City. Jesus Christ.
well, I would blame it on complex design in his supercarts, polluting the atmosphere. So
Yeah, because complex. Your cars are they running on a two-stroke? Are they two-stroke?
Two-stroke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's Tie City. I mean, it's a complex design fault.
You know what,
Ain't
man? Like,
ain't nothing wrong with a little two smoke.
we only
Ain't nothing wrong
run
with a little two smoke.
little 8-minute heats and then 16-minute mains. It's not
Yeah, at wide open throttle.
okay, but
Polluting
you
the
act like
atmosphere. Shame on you.
If you
now,
spend
if you
an
put a
hour in
goat
traffic,
behind,
you're putting out way more than I am.
well, not with engine cutoff, not with these new vehicles, right?
Not everyone has that.
Yeah, especially Tie City. Now Tie City. He cut off his engine. He may not be able to cut it back on.
I really think that blaming climate change on karting is highly disingenuous of all of you.
Well, if you put a goat behind the wheel on a two-stroke, does
Here
that
we
make
go.
him that make him a two-pump chump with an 8-minute heat?
Or is it just a go in heat?
Wow.
I don't know if King Sigma's listening, but yeah, bro.
In the chat.
Oh, is he in the chat?
I don't see.
I don't know. I was just
Yeah.
saying that.
Wow.
No, I don't see.
Probably not.
Oh, okay.
Don't do it, fam.
I'm not.
Well, listen, I don't know who you guys are referring to. I know it has something to do with this black YouTube thing, but I'll say this, man. Getting back to the Corvette C8, you know what? I am still wait and see. I'm not for it. I'm not against it. I'm neutral. I'm wait and see. I've been consistent in that part from day one. I want to see it in the hands of reviewers. I want to see what it does around European racetracks. I want to see it on sale at dealerships. I want to see what they're leaving the showroom floors for. Unfortunately, GM is in the midst of a UAW strike. We may not see that until January. So I'm
It's
just
not funny.
I'm just wait and see.
Well, Matt Farah has a video up on his channel on the Smoking Tire where he drove it around the track, man. I don't
Yeah, but
know.
he wasn't allowed to say nothing about it though.
Yeah, right. I wonder why.
I wonder why. I mean,
Listen.
Mike V
I know what
had
you're
a
trying to do.
video of the C8 going around the Nürburgring, and man, it didn't look good, bro. It didn't look good. It was
Probably those
slow.
wheels.
It was bouncing all over the
Paul
place.
Bryant, you gonna bow down to the C8 whether you like it or not. Come
I highly
January,
doubt that.
you gonna kiss the ring.
So
Nah,
wait,
you gonna
so
do.
the
That's
first
what you
race,
gonna do.
the first race that it sees is Petit Le Mans.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna see.
Well,
see.
what's to say that they don't just discontinue the C8 due to this UAW strike, man, and just go to
Mike,
C9?
stop it. Mike,
They
stop
just go
it.
to C9 and it's like hybrid, right? It's like
Wow. Wow.
Man, y'all some
Sounds
haters,
like-
man, for
You
real.
might be onto something. Yo,
no,
bro.
they could easily just
No,
cancel.
I mean no, dead ass, dude. Like, you gotta understand something, man. If something impacts business like on a relatively like, I wouldn't even want to say major scale, but on a recognizable scale, let's just say, right?
Right.
Oh,
Okay.
the racing program
When
getting hit.
exactly, I was gonna say, where do you first start trimming fat? Motorsport.
The cool shit.
So
You
it
know
can
what?
happen. It
To
can happen.
to Paul Bryant's point about GM and quality, they already having a shortage of parts.
Bro, I will say
They-
this.
They already have a shortage of parts.
Bro, I'll say this, and I'm neutral. I'm merely reporting the news. I was watching a video. GM has started to idle plants, and not plants in America. They have idled more than one plant in Mexico. In fact, several plants in Mexico. They idled one engine plant and they idled two parts plants in Mexico. I didn't hear about their plants in Canada because, to my knowledge, GM has parts plants in Mexico. They have final assembly plants in Canada. But if the UAW is on strike, that tells me every plant in America is automatically shut down. They're idling plants in Mexico. It can't be long before they start idling plants in Canada. So at that
Doom
point, something
and
is going to
gloom,
have
Paul.
to give.
Doom and gloom, Paul.
I'm not doing, bro.
Fear
I'm
porn,
merely
Paul.
reporting the news. Merely reporting the news. So GM, by their own admission, the earliest they're hoping to see C8s produced, not in showroom floors, mind you, just produced, is December. Because even after the strike is over, they have a batch of C7s that still have to be built. Once those are built, they're going to idle the plant for 1 to 2 weeks. They have to retool for the C8 then they're going to reopen the plant and start building the C8.
Well, Paul, they got a bigger issue with the service industry, with the Suburbans and stuff like that.
How so?
Well, the taxis and the
most.
the limos and stuff like that.
Right.
The city, the police department orders and stuff like that.
Right.
They got it on that front too.
Oh, as far as parts, right?
Yeah.
They're short on parts. Wow. Well,
Yeah,
see,
and they can't deliver the trucks and the police units and stuff like that they had.
But that's why
They may lose some of the contracts.
Yeah, well,
that's why
a lot of departments have already switched over to the Explorer.
Yeah.
You know what? I was just gonna say that.
Yep, like out here in Seattle, it's all Ford Explorers.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like you hardly even see any cop cars. Like it's all the Ford Explorer SUVs.
Well, because they don't make any more sedans, right? The Taurus is
Taurus.
it's all null and void.
Well,
you know
they use the Dodge Charger still. They use the Dodge Charger sedans for like when you do see a couple cars, you see a couple of Dodge Chargers.
Yeah, from what I heard, those are pretty crappy, man. From a lot of, I think Officer Charles Faulkner talked about those being crappy too.
Hey, Mike, isn't the Dodge Charger built in America? Wasn't it designed by Americans? Just curious.
Yeah,
Wasn't sure.
Oh, here we go.
Hey, you know what? I drive past
mute his microphone because he just gonna hate all night long. Mute his microphone.
Hey, I drive past the GM plant every day coming home from work, you know, and when they first started striking, you seen them at every entrance. Then they started narrowing down the entrance. Now I see like 2 or 3 at like the main entrance, bro. It's like they they only get paid $200 to strike a week, and they already missed their first check.
Yeah, but
Yeah, it's fucked up.
You know what though? There was a dark side to this that hasn't been reported in the news, but I do remember the last time that GM or was it Ford or Chrysler, whatever, had a really long strike. Scabs. At some point, GM may seriously consider start hiring scabs. That's when things get ugly.
Now, scabs, is that like
Scab.
scab? Is that like the little vent cover for the C8?
Yes, it is. Funny you say that, Mike. Funny you bring that point up.
That's what it looks like.
That cheap injection molded plastic. But no, I mean, you know, non-union workers who they're going to bring in for obviously lower wages, zero health benefits to temporarily replace the union workers who are on strike.
That's fucked up.
Here you go, right here, Tie City.
Yeah, that's tough right there.
48K.
That's a nice looking vehicle.
Can't beat that.
That's a nice looking.
No need for a Corvette at that point.
Yeah, but you know me, we getting into GTR range.
Oh yeah.
What, the Nissan GTR?
Yep.
Isn't that $100,000 car now?
No, and that's you can get them on the used market for about 55 to 60K. Paul.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get out of town.
Yeah, they're pretty affordable now. You've seen a lot of millennials driving them now. I mean, I'm pretty sure they've mortgaged their fucking life away to get it.
Yeah, they're not getting favorable interest rates on a used sports car like that.
No. They signed their life away to get those.
This is not financial.
What is the my only concern with that would be that, you know, like all Japanese cars, they build soft rotors and the CV joints are crap.
Mm-hmm.
Unless things have changed within the last 10 odd years.
I can't speak on the
Nissan builds a solid motor.
Yeah, I can't speak on the CV joints or rotors for that car, but my CV joints are just fine.
What do you drive?
It's a
The
BRZ,
FRF.
right?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, right. That's right. Yeah, you.
Well, I do change my rotors though, but that's just me.
All right,
Now,
well,
do you have an exhaust system on there too?
Nope, all stock.
stickers. How many stickers do you have? Because those add
Oh,
75
okay.
horsepower.
See, I have a Gran Turismo windshield banner.
And do you
And
have a Nürburgring sticker on the back?
no, I have a sticker
It's
from
of the
Waterford Hills
track.
Road Racing in Michigan. It's a track sticker. And I have a plate frame, and that's it.
Do you change the rotors yourself?
Yeah.
All right.
Wait,
Oh man, the consigliere is here just
Is
before we about to
that-
close out. What's going on,
is
bro?
that the
What's up,
consigliere in the
fellas?
building?
What's up, man? What's up? Man, came home. I kind of sat down for a second, got a little something to eat, fell the fuck out on my couch, man. I fell out, bro. I fell the fuck out. I was sleeping, man. Damn.
It's better better than you fall asleep on that couch than being one of those dumpsters in some alley somewhere.
Oh, hell no. Hell no.
Wow.
With internet and Wi-Fi as well.
Yeah.
With all the amenities.
Oh,
All
yeah.
the amenities, right?
joke.
Sitting right next to my composting toilet. No, I don't.
I got a trash can next to my dumpster house.
Oh my
This is just what Ty
God.
City's looking for.
Nagone, the consigliere is in the building.
What's up, man? We got the Minister of Defense here. We were talking about you earlier today. We were laughing at you.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we were talking about you, man. How you were pulling triggers on folks. I was like,
What's
Oh.
up? What's
Yeah.
up, Nagone?
what's going
Yo,
on,
not to
fam?
change the
What's
subject.
up, baby?
Did anybody see Earl Spence wrecked his Ferrari? Did y'all see the video of that?
I
No.
heard of it.
Yo,
Wrecked the
it was a
Ferrari. How'd he do that?
nasty wreck, man.
You didn't get hurt though, right?
Nah, he fucked up. They're not gonna say how bad it is though.
Mhm.
Yo, you gotta see it. The Ferrari he was in, he dog 3 a.m, man. He got ejected from it.
Whoa.
Got ejected from his car.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's lucky he survived.
The video out, it's not graphic. You can't see anything. You just see the car. Like the
Damn.
surveillance.
Was he not wearing a seatbelt?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me see.
It's hard to get ejected out of a Ferrari, man. I mean,
It really is, man. It's
It's
lucky
tight car.
he's still alive.
that's a
Look,
pretty
he's
tight car.
alive.
Let me
Well,
see.
but plus also they make these cars so full that that they don't take all the energy in there, so the car does break away and come apart. So,
Mhm.
but
Yeah,
damn.
but that's for impact. He rolled it. The car was flipped.
Oh shit, he's lucky he is still with us, bro.
Wow.
Damn.
Who is this now?
Earl Spence, the boxer.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Wow.
Let's have some ball tires on there.
So that car's a write-off. That car's finished. That car's done.
Let me see.
Ball tires would be a good call.
yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. I don't know. You guys might have missed it. When we first did the live stream, the Tesla police car that ran out of juice in the high speed pursuit. What you guys take on it?
What? That's crazy. That's crazy. What that means is, buddy, either they gotta have a battery that lasts a lot longer, or they can just forget about doing that. Just forget about that. I've never heard of a police car dying out in a chase. I just haven't heard of it. I'm sorry. I've heard of guys crashing police cars and stuff, but a car dying out, what good is that? It's useless.
Hey, Mike, I just dropped that video in the chat. It's not graphic.
Okay.
Police car breaking down during a police chase.
That-
Nagone, correct
Well,
me if
they
I'm
called
wrong.
it in. They called it in that it wasn't. They didn't have enough juice in the battery.
Jesus, Christopher.
That's
That
what I'm
sounds,
talking about, baby.
that
That's
sounds
what I'm
like
talking
some
about.
Keystone Cops type thing, right?
Yeah, that really does. That's Keystone Cops all day long. That's all. And let's say somebody had done something real crazy, some real ill crime. Maybe the crime wasn't that serious. The guy did. I know cops will chase you for anything. But But if that was
Damn.
something really ill and the guy your car dies, that's crazy.
Shoes came off, man. His shoes came off.
Wow.
His do rag is on the street too.
Oh no, Mike! You're not right.
That's
not right, Mike.
And how did he? Was he drunk?
I don't know.
it doesn't
That happened
take
at 3
much.
in the morning.
Well, it doesn't take much, man. If your tires are bald, your tires are bald, man. That there's no way it can stop.
Well, yeah, and the temperature changed here too, so it's probably kind of cool too.
Yeah, bro, at 2:45 in the morning, I can only assume that he's leaving somewhere. He was inebriated or under the influence and did not have a seatbelt on. Because I don't see how it's possible to be ejected from a modern anything with your seatbelt on.
Nah, I saw it one time. I saw a guy he was in a Corvette.
Mm-hmm.
He was running away from police, and his car. He was on the highway, but they had like a big infield where you could like possibly even turn around and move around on the other side of the highway. But this guy goes up on the infield. The car's moving fast, but he starts losing control of it because of the grass and stuff. Car ends up hitting like another I don't know if it was a guardrail or something, but it turned to the side, hit the side of the car. The car impacted first, and looked like he blasted out the door. So the car hit, the door got like cracked. He came spilling out of the fucking vehicle, so he got ejected out of the car. And he gets up and tries to run on this, and then he, of course, like all these assholes, they try to run. And these guys just they just collapse down. They just collapse down on them. But I've seen it. It was actually a video I saw on YouTube.
Okay.
So it can happen. It can happen. I would have thought this guy would have gotten hurt, but he didn't. Maybe he was hurt, but didn't know. But he got out. He got up as soon as his car made the impact, hit on the side, and the door opened. He came flying out, and literally he got spit out. And then, and then the sucker leg got up.
So my only question is, maybe he was never wearing a seatbelt.
I would have to think that was probably the case, because the seatbelt, it's going to lock you in, man, ain't it?
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, it probably would have been worse.
Yeah,
it's difficult. It's difficult to get ejected with a seatbelt on. The thing tightens up if any sort of movement is not consistent with the
that's right
vehicle.
Instant move, yeah.
And plus, I'm pretty sure those Ferraris do have significant airbags to kind of keep you in position. The seats are bolstered, right? I mean, the seats, if they're racing seats, they're bolstered pretty well.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
depending on what Ferrari you might have, you might have a 6-point harness up in that piece. I don't know. I mean, it just depends on.
Well, if he didn't have a seatbelt on, then he would be screwed, right?
Yeah.
Because a 4-point or 6-point harness seatbelt would have kept him in the car.
He wouldn't. There was no way he would have come out of there.
No, they would need to cut him out of that.
That's exactly right. There's no way he's getting out of there. No way he's getting.
Yeah. He might have broke his neck if that was the case, though, too.
Correct. Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. I would tend, but it may not. It may not have broken his neck, because harness is designed to kind of keep that from happening as well. But it could have happened depending on how the accident came.
That's why they make you use a Hans device. You have to wear a helmet with a Hans device.
Facts. Well, some guys say that the helmet sometimes is too heavy, which can actually precipitate a neck break. I've heard that as well, and
right.
But
I thought,
go ahead, go ahead, Minister.
But I thought I've seen helmets now that the helmet is tethered to the Hans.
That's right.
Device, so you can't go forward.
That's right. It keeps that from happening. Correct. That's correct.
You know what? This brings me to like. Sometimes I'll be seeing some of these like goofy guys at like Cars and Coffee, and I just think like man, these dudes don't. I don't think they understand the machinery that they actually have. Like some of these rich guys are just, they just, I, I, I don't know. You talk to him, he'd be like, "Well, this dude is clueless, and he's driving." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Speaking
Yeah,
of,
but that I don't think it's the guys with the money, man. It's the guys, man, who just for whatever reason they gotta do a burnout. Gotta
hey,
do it.
listen,
Nah, man. Some of these
guys,
guys, man, you can
speak.
just tell, man. You just be like,
Do you guys remember the one
it's just a
video
status symbol. They don't
of the
understand
Must?
the technicality of what they actually have.
Hey, go ahead, Ellis.
Do you guys remember the one video of the red Mustang that hit the car and all the papers started flying out?
I didn't see that one. Damn, that must have been
I
Well,
wild.
saw
that was kind of the thing that pretty much triggered the whole Mustang hitting people thing.
Yeah.
I
Oh yeah,
I know
yeah.
that kid who
Crowd
did that.
control.
I know that kid.
They call it
He
crowd
gave
really.
me a
control.
ride in that
Mustang
car
crowd
like
control.
2 weeks before.
You know what? I thought for a second you were gonna talk about the video of it's an older gentleman and he's in a Mustang convertible and he's making a left turn. He's too heavy on the gas and he's trying to bring it back from fishtailing and he's slapping at the wheel, slapping at the wheel. Boom! He hits the curb. He almost hits people, but he hits the curb and breaks the front axle.
Oh, that's just whack.
What's up
But
with
doing
Mustangs not
burnouts,
being able to go in a straight line?
it's funny. I remember this is some years ago, around 2008 or 9. I was actually at the time I was driving my 300, and and it had I geeked it up, and I had I had I'll admit I had Kenny Bell up in there, but anyway, um, I was coming onto highway coming in the off ramp, and I punched it. And I didn't have spin control off the car, so the car goes off, car takes off, and then the rear end starts coming out towards the right. Just starts to spin. It's coming around on me pretty fast. So as soon as you feel the rear end coming out on you towards the right, you got to turn your wheel, crank it towards the right, so you don't spin around. And
Right.
and next thing I feel the rear end getting ready to come out, and then I end up just turning in towards where the rear end was coming into it. It straightens the car out, comes back around again. So it's coming back around again on the left side, and I'm turning to the left a little bit, turn to the left to make sure it doesn't come out, and I straighten out and I come up the gas. I know if I came up the gas too fast, the car probably would just popped up and the thing would probably spun all the way around, which
Right.
is a whole other problem. So I'm sitting there and I straighten the car out and I'm driving, and this guy drives up next to me. He was in a Mustang. He goes, "Yeah, man, good recovery, man. You almost went into the fucking wall." I was like, I tried to stop myself from doing that. But that's exactly what can happen to you if you don't watch it and your car hops on you. You can go right the fuck off the road behind some dumb shit. And you know what I'm saying? And just thank God I kept myself. And the guy drives me, "Good recovery, man. You almost went into the wall, man. Good recovery." I was like, "Yeah, bro." I didn't think that shit was funny either, but I was scared because had I started flat spinning right there on the highway, and you got some old white woman or something like that driving, that'd have been your ass. She would have T-boned the fuck out you. You would have
Yeah.
it'd have been bad. It'd have been totally fucked up.
Nagone,
So
I have
You
a
were
story
running
for you.
Hoosiers though, right? You were running Hoosiers on that 300, right?
no. In fact, no, no, I was running Firehawks. But anyway,
Oh my God.
yeah. So but anyway, it was absolutely fucked up. But
I have a story for you, Nagone.
but I was lucky. So, and I wasn't drunk or nothing. So it was just a call
That's
popping
what I'm
off on
talking
me.
about.
So
I have a story for you. One night, me and a buddy of mine were coming back from the city, so we came across the Triborough Bridge. We're on the Grand Central, and where we just came off the plaza and plaza entrance to the bridge, and I will admit I had a little bit too much to drink.
no.
The road curves a bit. I overestimated my speed. The car 180. I was literally
Oh no.
going backwards on the highway at highway speed, and
Whoa.
like out of a movie, this guy's is next to me, and we're headed. He's facing the right way. I'm facing toward the back way, and we're moving in the same direction.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit.
Damn.
The same thing. I was somehow able to stop, turn the car around, and keep going because it was like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
This was on
Bro,
Queens
I
Way, right?
never, huh?
This is on your way to Queens, right?
At this point, I was back in Queens because I had gotten off the Tri-Board Bridge, and I was on the highway. But it was like 3. It was 3 in the morning, so luckily there was almost no traffic and no cops. And I lived to tell the story clearly, and bro, I never did it again. It's
No. Shit could happen. And what happened with me the time when I spun a car, I was actually getting up onto I was actually coming off. I was coming in Greenberg. I was entering onto the Sprainbrook Parkway, and I was going to get off by Jackson Avenue. And I was like, oh, that's kind of nice little.
Oh yeah, twist and turns.
Yeah, but it was a kind of a straight head. But we were kind of going up a slight incline. But as I was getting onto the highway, so I said, let me punch this motherfucker. Let me punch this bitch. Ain't nobody
That's what
around.
I'm talking about.
Bang! All of a sudden, that shit was like, and I'm like, in Westchester, you got a lot of suckers on the road, man. A lot of soccer moms and shit driving around, and their driving skills are fucking garbage.
Yeah.
So had I, dude, I'm just saying how it is. They suck, and I'm up in there totally fucking up. And I was like, if somebody T-bones me here, and they're coming down the highway 45, 50 miles an hour, that would have been an exceedingly ugly scene. And had I flat spin the car, I know how to get out of a flat spin and flat spin the car straight. I was taught how to do that, but at the same time, as soon as people see you doing that on the highway, they're gonna panic.
Oh yeah.
As soon as they see a big ass fucking black 300 fucking spinning on the wheel with fucking 20s, fucking spinning, motherfuckers be like, oh, this motherfucker's spinning he's spinning like a CD, man. How do I get the fuck out of here? And then,
I'm straight fucking up, but these people can't drive for shit.
They suck, and no, they suck. But I was fucking up because I let my car get away from me for a second. So it was a problem.
Would you
Yeah,
run
I was very lucky. I was very lucky. I didn't do that again. Because the car would catch rubber. The car would actually catch rubber. I don't care. That car would catch rubber at 35 miles an hour. You punch it, it would catch rubber. You would start to spin. The car would start to fishtail 35.
Wow. Yeah.
What were you running for radar detection on there?
Let me see. I didn't have a radar detector at the time.
Oh, I think it might be illegal in New York to have radar detection.
Yeah. I didn't have radar detectors because.
Wait, whoa! Time out. To my knowledge, it's not illegal to have a radar detector.
No, guys running, but I wasn't running. I wasn't running radar at that moment. I wasn't really speeding. I wasn't driving. Because I just knew. Because when you're going up and down the Sprain and everything else like that, if you're driving fast, the cops are just waiting for you. They're just trying to tear you out.
You coming.
They're tearing you out the frame. They're just laying. They sit there. They that's how they make money. That's how they eat. So they're laying for all the big, all the big cars that come rolling through. Guys are running real fat rides. Like now, I got a couple of guys running McLarens and shit. They're up and down on the road. And it's like, they're just waiting for you, man. So they're just laying for you, especially on the Sprain where it's nice and long. And the state guys can just hang in the counties. The mounties can just hang right off the side of the highway behind a little hill, or they're just laying on one of the exits, just waiting for you to come rolling through. They're just waiting for you.
Mm-hmm.
They're just waiting for your ass. And that's just so you just know where the speed traps are. But if you take off real quick off an on-ramp, and you just get on and you get onto the highway real quick, you can kind of feel, you can play for a minute. You can't run far. But you can run for a little bit.
See, in
New York state troopers, all they do is give speeding tickets. That's all they live for.
That's their job, man.
Feast on it.
They have a quota there to meet, though.
Wait, what?
That is their job.
They have a quota.
I had a state trooper tell me, he says, the speed limit here is 69 miles an hour. If we catch you going 70, if you 55 mile an hour zone, the speed here is 69. 69. But I had a trooper tell me straight up.
Mhm.
69. We catch you at 68, 69, you're good. 70, we are on that ass. So and these guys are they're just laying for you like that. They're
Well, you
laying
know,
for you.
in New Hampshire, they use airplanes to track the vehicles now. So
Yeah,
Oh, I've
they do
seen
that in
that
Westchester
for
as well.
years.
You got Westchester
Yeah.
Airport, and you have the cops that come over and they have the aircraft
Yeah.
that track you as well. They
Yep.
Westchester Airport, they got you up there as well. So yeah, they're flying around. Yeah, so yeah, you
I'm glad they don't have airplanes tracking vehicles in Illinois.
yeah.
oh, it's coming. It's coming because they have drones. I know Kenya was one of the first countries to actually establish using drones to give people tickets now. So
Man, it's fucked up.
Come to Germany. No speed limits on the autobahns. It is a beautiful thing. And the funny thing is, I get on an airplane, I come to Germany, I get on the autobahn, and bro, I'm in the middle lane doing 70. I don't even speed. Go figure.
what's the justification for not having a speed limit on the autobahn?
Well, you got to understand something. German culture is different. The approach to highway driving is highly disciplined. The left lane is for passing and passing only. You drive in the middle lane and in the right lane. Slower traffic is in the right, or you're getting off. Traffic is mostly in the middle or in the right. The left lane is for passing only. When a person passes you, they will on their own move right back into the middle lane. Not like the Muppets over in America. So the justification is, since there's lane discipline, whatever speed your vehicle can do, go and do it. And the vehicles are designed to handle at high speeds.
Yeah. But see, you got a whole different mindset in Germany. Germany, it's about, German engineering is about running fast, running hard, running responsibly. I mean, it costs you a lot more to get a driver's license there as well. But it's about that. The autobahns are built for high speed running. It's a disciplined country in that respect. They got a whole different view. It's about running hard. That's like a national pastime over there. Those guys don't fuck around with that. They're serious about their engineering of their vehicles, and they're serious about driving.
Also,
Here's different, man. Here's different. You got soccer moms running around, man, with fucking cigarettes and Prozac and fucking kids in cars fucking driving around all fucked up.
And then you should see
Yo, I didn't realize how
Hard to
garbage
drive,
people's
dude.
driving was until I got on a motorcycle, bro. That's what opened my eyes up to this whole world of putting on makeup, looking at phones, and like,
I saw a dude shaving with his Norelco in fucking in traffic.
Yeah. You see all that. It's whack. It's got a whole different
sitting up.
idea.
oh, bro, you know what? One other thing. Germans never understood the American fascination with cup holders. Germans
Oh.
believe driving is for driving.
That's right. It's a whole different.
You
it's a
do
whole
not
different
drive
mindset.
to a fast food spot and then consume your food in the vehicle. You wait until you get home to eat.
The
So
whole
German cars
different
literally,
mindset.
when
And
they
then
were
the
But
hot
not
that's where,
dogs,
running
right?
yeah,
with
but
cup
that came
And the
from
holders.
hot dogs,
drive-ins
bro.
though, right? That came from drive-ins, right? They serve you your meal and stuff like that at what is it, Denny's or whatever it is, Sonic, yeah.
Which is an American thing. Those did not exist in Germany.
Man,
Different
you
They
view.
were
can't be hating on
so
cup holders, man. Come on, dog.
bro, check your history on German cars. They did not believe in cup holders.
Yeah.
When BMWs and even Benzes came to America, they did not have cup holders. Even into the 80s, they did not have cup holders. It was not until the 90s that German cars had cup holders when they were sold in America. They were
Whole
Germany make the
literally
different
worst cup
add-on.
holders when they do have them. They pop out of vents and shit.
Right,
Well, I like
because
when they pop out instead of be part of the interior landscape.
a whole different philosophy, man. They got a whole different philosophy. Driving.
entirely
It's a
different
different philosophy.
Right.
Different philosophy. We don't have that philosophy here.
You
Like I said,
focus.
soccer
you
moms and
focus.
Prozac, dog.
You focus on driving, you concentrate on driving because it is taken seriously. But see, that is also a further reflection of German culture and society as a
That's right.
whole. Anything that you doing, you are focused on it. You are not distracted by cell phones or eating while driving.
That's
That is foreign to their culture, to their
That's right.
entire way of life. You know,
But
like
look at that
on
Autobahn. We don't have Autobahns here, man.
We have
Oh.
Fucking
95.
Autobahn.
We have 95.
not even
Oh
close.
my gosh, please,
Mike,
please.
We have
German,
355.
German autobahns, even the turns, imagine turns literally 1 mile long. So the autobahns are designed for a high speed running. You can't do 200 miles an hour on US highways. You'll fucking kill yourself, but you can on the autobahn because they're straight. So anywhere that it turns, they would literally build them so where they're gentle curves. The roads bank and the turns are so gentle and so slight and they're gradual, where a literal turn is 1 mile long to accommodate high speed running. The autobahns are built with concrete. They don't use asphalt, things like that. So they don't have to go back every winter and repave and repave and repave. Again, a further reflection of German culture and society as a whole. They do
Well,
things to last.
another big thing about the Autobahn that people don't consider, and I found out soon when I got there, is that the exits, sometimes you may drive 5, sometimes 10 miles before you see an exit. So you don't have that constant on and off of the Autobahn like you have here in America. You get on and off the freeway. It's constant things that are causing congestion, but not in Germany, because the exits are so far apart. You have these long stretches where you don't have any egress of oncoming traffic or ingress of oncoming traffic. So I think that plays a big role too.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely.
You need to go to Germany.
I gotta have somewhere to
One
put my
over.
big goat, man.
You what?
My big goat.
Oh Lord.
All right, man. I think this is a good time for me to shut this down. Yeah, thank you all for joining us, man. If you have not already hit the like button, just hit the like button, please. And check out the community tab where we post things on there weekly. I did post a 5x5 workout for those of you who were asking about it.
I saw that.
5x5. That's old school bodybuilder deal. The old guys came up with that in the 50s. And it's one of the best workout regimens that you can actually do if you want to build strength, build muscle fairly quickly. One of the best programs. Steve Reeve and all of them swore by it back in the day. Great.
Reeve. He was the truth.
Oh, he was the Veracruz.
Truth.
He was the Veracruz. He was the true cross. Natural, beautiful body on him. No steroids, no anything. He really he did the 5x5 workouts. A lot of time he also was incorporate a lot of full body stuff. And this guy was natural look. Just looked. Guy looked great, man. He looked great. No roids, none of that bullshit these guys are running today.
Natty.
Absolutely natty, totally natty all day long, and ran 5x5 all and ran
Bro,
5x5.
I saw a picture of Steve Reeve. He picked up a bar. He had one plate on each side, held it by the plates, and picked it up.
Now Steve Reeve was strong.
What?
Body, gorgeous, natural. Worked that 5x5 all day long. That's why I said, when I look at these dudes out here talking about steroids, and these guys look big and giant and bloated, and they just look, they look crazy.
All right. Shalom, everyone.
Shalom.
Good night.